கர்த்தருடைய பரிசுத்த நாமத்துக்கு மகிமை உண்டாவதாக.
Glory be to the holy name of the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు మహిమ కలుగును గాక.
கர்த்தருடைய பெரிதான கிருபையினாலும் சபையாருடைய ஜெபத்தினாலும் தேவ சமூகத்தில் வந்து நிற்கக்கூடியதான ஒரு பலத்தையும் கிருபையும் கர்த்தர் எனக்கு தந்திருக்கிறார்.
By the great grace of God and by the prayers of the congregation, the Lord himself has granted me strength that I would be able to come and stand in God's presence.
దేవుని యొక్క గొప్ప కృప చేతను సంఘస్థుల యొక్క ప్రార్థనను బట్టి దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానమందు నిలిచినటువంటి కృపను బలమును దేవుడిచ్చి ఉన్నారు.
எனக்காக ஜீவித்ததான யாவருக்கும் நான் நன்றியுள்ளவனாக இருக்கிறேன்.
I am very thankful to everyone that had prayed for me.
నా కొరకు ప్రార్థించిన వారందరికీ నేను కృతజ్ఞుడనై ఉన్నాను.
ஜெபத்தை நிறுத்தாதீங்க, தொடர்ந்து ஜெபிங்க.
Do not stop, do not cease to pray, continue to pray.
ప్రార్థనను నిలిపివేయకుడి, మీరు కొనసాగించి ప్రార్థించుడి.
அவர் பெரிய தேவன்.
He is a great God.
ఆయన గొప్ప దేవుడు.
அவர் மகாதேவன்.
And he is a big God.
ఆయన మహాదేవుడు.
எனக்கு சுகம் கொடுத்தான் தேவன்.
God would give
வியாதிப்பட்டதான உங்களுக்கும் கூட கர்த்தர் சுகத்தை தருவார்.
Even God who had given me healing, even as you may be sick, he will also give you healing.
నాకు ప్రభు స్వస్థతనిచ్చినాడు, వ్యాధితో ఉండినటువంటి మీకు కూడా ప్రభు స్వస్థతనిచ్చెదరు.
ஆண்டவருடைய அதிசயமான கிருபைகளை நாட்களில் ருசி பார்க்க கர்த்தர் உதவி செய்கிறார்.
The Lord is helping to test and see the great wonders of God.
దేవుని యొక్క ఆశ్చర్యమైనటువంటి కృపను రుచించుటకు ఈ యొక్క దినములందు దేవుడు సహాయం చేసి ఉన్నారు.
நம்முடைய பெரிய தேவன் பெரிய காரியங்களை செய்கிறார்.
Our great God is doing mighty deeds.
మన యొక్క గొప్ప దేవుడు గొప్ప కార్యములను చేయుచున్నారు.
அவர் மகாதேவன் மகிமையான காரியங்களை செய்கிறார்.
He is a great God, therefore he is doing glorious things.
గొప్ప దేవుడు ఆయన మహిమగల కార్యములను చేసిరి.
அந்த பெரிய தேவனுடைய மத்தியில் இருக்கிறபடி நாம் கர்த்தரை ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம்.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Sodram, 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 sodram. Praise the Lord, sodram, 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 sodram.
நீர் மகாதேவன் அல்லவோ, வான் போய நீரந்தன் தேவன் அல்லவோ, நீர் மகாதேவன் அல்லவோ, ஔஷதமாகிய இயேசுவே ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்தில் அனுபவிக்க கர்த்தர் நமக்கு உதவி செய்கிறார்.
God is our balm of healing and he is helping us to experience him in our daily life.
స్వస్థపరచునటువంటి యేసును మన యొక్క అనుదిన జీవితమందు అనుభవించుటకు ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ప్రభు సహాయం చేయుచున్నారు.
ஆண்டவருக்கு நாம் நன்றியுள்ளவர்களாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
Therefore we must be very very thankful unto the Lord.
మనము దేవునికి కృతజ్ఞులుగా ఉండవలెను.
కర్తృ పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రం.
Praise be to the holy name of the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రము.
விசுவாசிகள் நடக்கிறதான வேத பாடத்துக்கும் உபவாசத்துக்கும் காத்திருக்கிறதுக்கும் பங்கெடுத்தால் அது உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஆசீர்வாதமாக இருக்கும்.
If the believers participate in the fasting prayer and in the Bible study and also in the tarry meetings, it will be a blessing to them.
విశ్వాసులైనటువంటి వారు ఉపవాస ప్రార్థనకు వేద పఠన కూటములకు కనిపెట్టు కూటములకు వచ్చినట్లయితే అది ఆశీర్వాదకరంగా ఉండును.
நம்முடைய நாட்கள் தேவ சமூகத்தில் நாம் செலவழிக்க வேண்டாம்.
Our days will have to be spent only in the presence of God.
మన యొక్క దినములను దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానమందు మనము గడపవలెను.
கொஞ்ச நேரம் கிடைத்தாலும் கூட நம்முடைய நேரத்தை தேவ சமூகத்தில் செலவழிக்கும் போது அது நமக்கு ஆசீர்வாதமா இருக்கும்.
Even if we get very little time, if we spend that time in God's presence, that will be a blessing to us.
మిక్కిలి కొంత సమయము మనకు దొరికినప్పుడు కూడా ఆ యొక్క సమయమందు మనం దేవుని సన్నిధానమందు గడపటం మంచిదే ఉన్నది.
வருஷ கடைசில நாம் வந்திருக்கிறோம்.
We have come to the end of the year.
మనము సంవత్సరం యొక్క అంతమునకు వచ్చినాము.
இன்னும் 2 மாசத்துக்குள்ள இந்த வருஷத்தை முடித்து ஒரு புதிய வருஷத்துக்குள்ள நாம் பிரவேசிக்க போகிறோம்.
In 2 months from now we will be completing this year and will be entering into a new year.
ఇంకా 2 నెలల్లోపు యొక్క సంవత్సరమును మనం ముగించి క్రొత్త సంవత్సరంలో ప్రవేశించదము.
புதிய வருஷத்துல பிரவேசிப்பதற்கு இப்பொழுதே நமக்குள்ள ஒரு ஆயத்தத்தின் வேலை நடக்க வேண்டாம்.
To enter into the new year, even from now a work of preparation will have to happen.
క్రొత్త సంవత్సరంలో ప్రవేశించుటకు ఇప్పుడే మనలో ఒక సిద్ధపాటు పని జరుగుచుండవలెను.
அந்த ஆயத்தம் என்ன?
What is the preparation?
ఆ యొక్క సిద్ధపాటు ఏమిటి?
அது உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படக்கூடியதான అనుభవం.
And that is the experience of being quickened.
అది జీవింప చేయబడినటువంటి అనుభవం అయినది.
தேவச்சனமாகி நாம் ஒவ்வொரு உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படும் போது புதிய வருஷத்துல நாம் ஒரு ஆசீர்வாதமான நேரத்துல நாம் கடந்து போக முடியும்.
Even as we are the children of God, when each one of us are quickened, then as we enter into the new year we could enter with blessings.
దేవుని యొక్క బిడ్డలమైనటువంటి మనము జీవింప చేయబడినప్పుడు క్రొత్త సంవత్సరం నందు మనం ఆశీర్వాదకరంగా ప్రవేశించదము.
இந்த உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படக்கூடியதான இந்த அனுபவங்கள் இப்பொழுதே நமக்குள்ள நடக்க வேண்டாம்.
Therefore this quickening experience will have to happen in us even now.
ఈ యొక్క జీవింప చేయబడినటువంటి అనుభవములు ఇప్పుడే మనలో కలగవలెను.
தாவீது நாட்களில் ஒரு மனுஷன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட்டதை பற்றி நாம் படிக்கிறோம்.
In the days of David we read that there was a man who was quickened.
దావీదు యొక్క దినములందు ఒక వ్యక్తి జీవింప చేయబడినట్లుగా చూచున్నాము.
அவன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு அவனுக்கு 4 காரியங்கள் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
For him to be quickened, 4 things were given to him.
అతడు జీవింప చేయబడకు అతనికి 4 కార్యములు ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నవి.
அதை பற்றி தான் இன்றைக்கு நான் உங்களோட பேச போகிறேன்.
It is only about that I will be speaking to you.
దానిని గురించి నేడు నేను మాట్లాడబోచున్నాను.
இன்றைக்கு கூட்டத்துக்காக ஜெபிக்கும் போது அந்த வசந்தா கர்த்தர் என்னோட பேசினார்.
While I was praying for today's meeting, then God began to speak to me.
నేడు కూటమి నిమిత్తము ప్రార్థించినప్పుడు ప్రభు ఆ యొక్క వాక్యంతోటే మాట్లాడి ఉన్నారు.
ஒரு பிள்ளை ஆண்டார் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட்டதான ஒரு அனுபவத்தை பற்றி படிக்கிறோம். இது தாவீது நாட்களில் நடந்த ஒரு சம்பவம்.
We read about a child who was quickened, and this is an experience that has happened in the times of David.
ఒక పిల్లవాడు జీవింప చేయబడిన గురించి చదువుచున్నాము. ఇది దావీదు యొక్క దినములందు జరిగెను.
அந்த சம்பவத்தை 1 சாமுவேல் 30ஆம் அதிகாரம் 11வது 12வது வசனத்துல படிக்கிறோம்.
We can read about that in 1 Samuel chapter 30 verses 11 and 12.
ஒரு எகிப்தியனை வெளியில் அவர்கள் கண்டு அவனை தாவீதின் நிலத்தில் கொண்டு வந்து புசிக்க அவனுக்கு அப்பமும் குடிக்க தண்ணீரும் கொடுத்து அத்திப்பழ அலையின் ஒரு துண்டையும் வற்றலான 2 திராட்சை பழ குலைகளையும் அவனுக்கு கொடுத்தார்கள். அதை அவன் சாப்பிட்ட பின்பு அவனுடைய உயிர் திரும்ப அவனுக்குள் வந்தது. அவன் ராப்பகல் 3 நாளாய் அப்பம் சாப்பிடாமலும் தண்ணீர் குடியாமலும் இருந்தான்.
They found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David and gave him bread, and he did eat, and they made him drink water, and they gave him a piece of a cake of figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him, for he had eaten no bread nor drunk any water 3 days and 3 nights.
పొలంలో ఒక ఐగుప్తుడు కనబడెను.
వారు దావీదు ఎద్దుకు వాడిని తోడుకొని వచ్చి వాడు 3 రేయింపగలు అన్నపానములు ఏమీయో పుచ్చుకొనలేదని తెలుసుకొని వానికి భోజనమును పెట్టి దాహమిచ్చి అంజూరు పాడలో ముక్కలను 2 ద్రాక్ష గల్లను వానికి ఇచ్చిరి. వాడు భోజనం చేసిన తరువాత వాని ప్రాణము త్రెప్పలులగా.
അവർ വയലിൽ വെച്ച് ഒരു മിസ്രയീമിനെ കണ്ട് ദാവീദിന്റെ അടുക്കൽ കൊണ്ടുചെന്നു അവന് അപ്പം കൊടുത്തു. അവൻ തിന്നു. അവന് കുടിപ്പാൻ വെള്ളവും കൊടുത്തു. അവർ അവന് ഒരു കഷണം അത്തിയടയും 2 ഉണക്ക മുന്തിരിക്കുലയും കൊടുത്തു. അത് തിന്നപ്പോൾ അവൻ ഉയിർ വീണു. 3 രാവും 3 പകലും അവൻ ആഹാരം കഴിക്കുകയോ വെള്ളം കുടിക്കുകയോ ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലായിരുന്നു.
కర్తృ పరిశునామమునకు స్తోత్రం.
Praise be to the holy name of the Lord.
ప్రభు యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రము.
இந்த மனுஷன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு 4 காரியங்கள் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
For this man to be quickened, 4 things were given to him.
మొదటి సమూయేలు 30:11-12 వాక్యములందు ఈ యొక్క మనుషుడు తెప్పరిల్లుటకు 4 కార్యములు ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నవి.
முதலாவதாக அப்பம் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
First and the foremost, he was given bread.
మొట్టమొదటిగా అతనికి భోజనం పెట్టబడి ఉన్నది.
இரண்டாவதாக தண்ணீர் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
Secondly, he was given water.
రెండవదిగా దాహమునకు నీళ్లు ఇవ్వబడెను.
மூன்றாவதாக అత్తిపழங்கள் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
And thirdly, he was given cakes of figs.
మూడవదిగా అంజూరు పాడ ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నది.
நான்காவதாக வாசிக்கிறோம்.
And fourthly,
வாசிங்க.
அத்திப்பழ அலையில் ஒரு துண்டையும் பட்டலான 2 திராட்சைப்பழ குலைகளையும்
திராட்சைப்பழ குளங்களும் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
And fourthly, he was given 2 clusters of raisins.
నాలుగవదిగా 2 ద్రాక్ష గెలలను వానికి ఇచ్చిరి.
இந்த 4 காரியங்கள் போஷித்த பிற்பாடுதான் அவனுடைய உயிர் அவனுக்குள்ள வந்தது அல்லது உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட்டார்.
It was only after consuming these 4 things his life came back to him. That means he was quickened.
ఈ యొక్క 4 కార్యములు అతనికి ఇవ్వబడిన తర్వాతనే అతని యొక్క ప్రాణము తెప్పరిల్లి ఉన్నది.
இன்றைக்கு தேவ சமூகத்துக்கு வந்தான ஒவ்வொருவரும் இந்த 4 அனுபவங்களை பெற்றுதான் இங்கிருந்து கடந்து போக வேண்டும். அப்பொழுதுதான் நீங்கள் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட முடியும்.
In the same manner, even every one of us, as we have come to the presence of God, we will have to receive these 4 things. Only then, even as we go from here, we would return quickened.
నేడు దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానముకు వచ్చిన ప్రతి ఒక్కరు యొక్క 4 అనుభవాలను పొందుకొని వెళ్ళవలెను. అప్పుడే మనము జీవింపజేయబడదము.
இந்த 4 அனுபவங்கள் அல்லது இந்த 4 காரியங்கள் இவனுக்கு கொடுப்பதற்கு முன்பாக இவருடைய நிலவரத்தை பற்றி நாம் படிக்கும்போது பரிதாபமான நிலவரமாக இருந்தது.
As we read about his experience before all these 4 things were given, it was but a situation of misery.
ఈ యొక్క 4 కార్యములను అతనికి ఇచ్చుటకు ముందుగా ఈ యొక్క పరిస్థితి అది మిక్కిలి ఘోరముగా కనిపించినది.
30వ అధికారం 1 సాముయేలు 30వ అధికారం 11వ వచనం వాసిக்கும் போது இப்போ வாசித்தது போல அவன் வெளியில இருந்தான், ஃபீல்டில் இருந்தான்.
As we are in the 11th verse of 1 Samuel chapter 30, we find that he was in the field.
మొదటి సమూయేలు 30:11 వాక్యమందు చదివినప్పుడు ఆ యొక్క వ్యక్తి పొలములో ఉండి ఉన్నాడు.
வெளியில இருந்தான்னு சொல்லும்போது ஊருக்குள்ள அல்ல, அவன் வெளியில இருந்தான்.
When it is said that he was in the field, he was not in the city, but he was outside.
అతడు పొలములో ఉండి ఉన్నాడని చెప్పినప్పుడు అతడి యొక్క పట్టణ ఆ యొక్క ఊరిలో కనిపించలేదు, బయట ఉండి ఉన్నాడు.
அவனை விசாரிக்கவோ கவனிக்கவோ யாருமே இல்லை.
There is none to inquire of him or find his favor.
అతన్ని విచారించుటకు అతడు ఆనుకుంటకు అక్కడ ఎవరునూ లేరు.
ஏனென்றால் அவனுடைய ஜீவியம் அவன் ஊருக்கு வெளியில இருக்கிறான்.
Because in his life he was found outside the city.
ఎందుకనగా అతడు పట్టణమునకు బయట కనిపించున్నాడు.
அவனுடைய ஜீவியம் ஒரு பரிதாபமான நிலவரத்தில் காணப்பட்டிருந்தது.
His life was found at a deplorable state.
అతని యొక్క జీవితం అనేది మిక్కిలి పరితాపకరమైన స్థితిలో ఉన్నది.
இது போல சில வேளையில நம்முடைய జీవితంలో காணப்படலாம்.
This is how also sometimes our life could be found.
ఈ రీతిగానే మన యొక్క జీవితం కొన్నిసార్లు ఇలాగనే ఉండవచ్చును.
இந்த பிள்ளை ஆண்டன் எவ்விதமா வெளியே இருந்தானோ அதே போல நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்திலும் கூட நாம் வெளியில இருக்கிறதான அனுபவம், அதாவது யாராலும் விசாரிக்கப்படாத ஒரு அனுபவத்தில் நாம் காணப்பட்டிருக்கலாம்.
As to how this child was also found in the field, so shall also could be our life. That means we could be staying out where in which there would be none to inquire of our welfare.
ఇతడు పొలములో ఉండినట్లుగా కొన్నిసార్లు ఎవరు కూడా మనల్ని విచారించలేని స్థితిలో మనము కనిపించున్నాము.
வெளியில இருக்கிறதான இந்த மனுஷன் யோசித்து கொண்டு இருக்கலாம், என்னை யாருமே விசாரிக்க இல்லையே, எனக்கு உதவி செய்யறதுக்கு யாருமே இல்லையே, என்னுடைய நிலவரம் என்ன ஆகுமோ என்று ஒருவேளை இவன் யோசித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கலாம்.
This man who was in the field perhaps was thinking, nobody is there to help me, as to therefore what will happen to me and what will befall on me. This is the manner in which he would have thought of himself.
ఈ యొక్క పొలంలో ఉండినటువంటి ఈ యొక్క వ్యక్తికి ఎవరు కూడా సహాయం చేయటకు ఎవరు లేరు, విచారించటకు కూడా ఎవరు లేరు, తర్వాత నాకేం జరుగును అని చెప్పి అతడు అనుకుని ఉండును.
ஆனால் தாவீதுடைய மனுஷர்கள் அவனை தேடி கொண்டு வந்து தாவீதை நிலைவிட்டார்கள்.
Nevertheless, the men of David have gone in search of him and brought him to David.
అయితే దావీదు యొక్క వ్యక్తులు అతని దావీదు వద్దకు తోడుకొని వచ్చిరి.
தாவீதுடைய மனுஷர்கள் ஊழியக்காரருக்கும் தாவீது கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்து நிழலாட்டமாக நாம் படிக்கலாம்.
We can read the men of David unto the servants of God, and David himself as the Lord.
దావీదు యొక్క మనుషులని చెప్పినప్పుడు దైవ సేవకులు దావీదు ప్రభుని యేసుక్రీస్తుకు సాదృశ్యంగా చెప్పవచ్చును.
தாவீது கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்துக்கு நிழலாட்டமாக நாம் படிக்கலாம்.
We can study David compared unto Lord Jesus Christ.
దావీదు ప్రభుని యేసుక్రీస్తునకు సాదృశ్యంగా చదవవచ్చును.
ஆகையால் எனக்கு யாருமே உதவி செய்யலையே, என்னை யாரும் விசாரிக்கலையே என்றதான ஒரு அனுபவத்தோடு நீங்க வந்திருந்தால் உங்களை விசாரிகளுக்கு இயேசு இருக்கிறார்.
Therefore, in case there is any one of you thinking that you are at a place where there is none to inquire of your welfare, please know for you there is Lord Jesus.
నన్ను విచారించుటకు ఎవరు లేరు, నాకు సహాయం చేయుటకు ఎవరు లేరని మీరు అనుకున్నట్లయితే మిమ్మల్ని విచారించుటకు యేసు మీకున్నారు.
அடுத்ததாக 13வது வசனம் வாசிக்கும் போது இவருடைய நிலவரத்தை நாம் வாசிக்கிறோம்.
Subsequently, as we read verse 13, we read about his condition.
13వ వాక్యమందు మనం చదివినప్పుడు అతని యొక్క స్థితిని చూచున్నాము.
இவன் அமலேக்குடைய ஒரு வேலைக்காரன் என்று படிக்கிறோம்.
And we also read that he was a servant to an Amalekite.
అమలేకీయునికి ఇతడు దాసుడై ఉన్నాడు.
வாசிங்க.
தாவீது அவனை நோக்கி, நீ யாருடையவன், நீ எவ்விடத்தான் என்று கேட்டதற்கு அவன், நான் ஒரு அமலேக்கியனுடைய வேலைக்காரனாகிய எகிப்து தேசத்து பிள்ளையால் நான் 3 நாளைக்கு முன் நான் வியாதிப்பட்ட போது என் எஜமான் என்னை கைவிட்டான்.
David said unto him, to whom belongest thou, and whence art thou? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant to an Amalekite, and my master left me because 3 days agone I fell sick.
இரண்டாவதாக இவருடைய நிலவரத்தை பற்றி படிக்கும்போது இவன் ஒரு அமலேக்குடைய வேலைக்காரனாக இருந்தான்.
Secondly, as we read this about his condition, he was a servant to an Amalekite.
కొనికి దాసుడై ఉన్నాడు.
அமலேக்குடைய வேலைக்காரன் சொல்லும்போது அவனுக்கு ஒரு ஃப்ரீடம் கிடையாது, அவனுக்கு சொந்தத்துக்கு ஒன்றுமே செய்ய முடியாது.
When it is said of a servant or a maid, they do not have a freedom. There is nothing they could claim for their own self.
అతడు ఒక దాసుడు అని చెప్పినప్పుడు అతడు స్వేచ్ఛగా దేన్ని కూడా చేయలేడు, అతడు దాసుడై ఉన్నాడు.
அமலேக்குடைய ஒரு வேலைக்காரன் சொல்லும்போது அவனுடைய சொந்தத்துக்கு அவன் ஒன்றுமே செய்ய முடியாது.
When it is said of a servant of an Amalekite, that means he by himself cannot do anything.
అమలేకీయునికి దాసుడని చెప్పినప్పుడు అతడు స్వేచ్ఛగా దేన్ని కూడా చేయకూడదు.
அவன் சொந்த விருப்பத்தின்படி நடக்கவோ சொந்த விருப்பத்தின்படி ஒன்றுமே செய்யவோ அவனுக்கு ஒரு freedom of choice கிடையாது.
He does not have a freedom of choice whether to say anything of his own desire or to do anything of his own liking.
తను కోరినట్లుగా చేయుటకో తను కోరినట్లుగా నడుచుటకో తన యొక్క ఇష్ట ప్రకారం చేయుటకు ఏమీ లేదు.
இந்த மனுஷனை போல நீங்களும் கூட பலவிதமான அடிமைத்தனோட நுகத்துக்குள்ள காணப்பட்டிருக்கலாம்.
Like this man, perhaps even you may have been found under many yokes of slavery.
ఈ యొక్క వ్యక్తి వలె అనేకులు కనిపించుచుండవచ్చును.
மூன்றாவதாக ஒரு வியாதிப்பட்ட ஒரு மனுஷனா இருந்தார்.
And thirdly, he also was a man fell in sickness.
మూడవదిగా ఇతడు కాయల పడి ఉన్నాడు.
வியாதின்னு சொல்லும்போது அது ஒரு பலவிதமான அனுபவத்தை காட்டுகிறது.
When it is said of sickness, that also reveal unto us diverse experiences.
ఈ యొక్క కాయల వ్యాధి అని చెప్పినప్పుడు అనేక విధములైన అనుభవం చూపుచున్నది.
வியாதி பட்டவனுக்கு அவருடைய கஷ்டம் தெரியும்.
Only when people fall sick, they know the difficulty of it.
ఈ యొక్క వ్యాధి వచ్చినటువంటి వారికి ఆ కష్టము తెలియను.
இந்த மனுஷனுக்கு மனதில பலவிதமான துக்கங்கள் வந்திருக்கலாம்.
This man also therefore in his mind may have had many sorrow.
ఈ యొక్క వ్యక్తి కూడా అనేక విధములైన దుఃఖములు కలిగి ఉండును.
நான் வியாதிப்பட்டிருக்கனே என்னுடைய நிலைமை என்ன ஆகுமோ என்றதான ஒரு யோசனை எனக்கு இருந்திருக்கலாம்.
He also may have had a thought wherein which he would have thought, I am sick, what then would happen to me?
నేను వ్యాధిగ్రస్తుడైనాను, నాకేమి సంభవించునని తలంపు వచ్చును.
அவன் எதிர்காலத்தை பற்றி யோசித்திருக்கலாம்.
He might have thought about his future.
తన యొక్క భవిష్యత్తును గురించి తలంచిండును.
இந்த வனாந்தரத்துல இந்த வெளியில என்ன விசாரிக்க யாருமே இல்லையே, இந்த நிலவரத்தை நான் மரித்து போவேனோ என்றதான எண்ணங்களும் அவனுக்கு வந்திருக்கலாம்.
He also would have thought, in this wilderness, in this field, when I have none to inquire of me, I could even die in this place.
ఈ యొక్క అరణ్యమందు యొక్క పొలములో నన్ను విచారించుటకు ఎవరునూ లేరు, నేను ఇక్కడే చనిపోదునో ఏమో అనే తలంపు పుట్టి ఉండును.
ஆனால் அவனை பற்றி தேவனுக்கு ஒரு நோக்கம் இருந்தது, அவன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட வேண்டாம்.
But about him, God had a purpose that he might be quick. He should be quickened.
అయితే దేవునికి అతని గురించి ఒక ఉద్దేశం ఉన్నది, అతడు తెప్పరిల్లబడవలెను.
కర్తృ పరిశుద్ధనామమునకు స్తోత్రం.
Praise be to the holy name of the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రము.
இப்படிப்பட்டதான் நிலவரத்துல கூட நமக்குள்ள சிலர் தேவ சமூகத்துக்கு வந்திருக்கலாம்.
Even in the situation we may have come to the presence of God.
ఇటువంటి పరిస్థితుల మధ్యలో కూడా దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి వచ్చి ఉండవచ్చును.
நான்காவதாக இவன் கைவிடப்பட்டதான ஒரு மனுஷனா இருந்தான்.
And fourthly we also read that this was a forsaken man.
తరువాత ఇతడు విడిచిపెట్టబడినటువంటి వ్యక్తిగా ఉన్నాడు.
இவன் சொல்லுகிறான், என்னுடைய எஜமான் என்னை கைவிட்டார்.
He makes a confession saying, my master had forsaken me.
నా యజమానుడు నన్ను విడిచిపెట్టి పోయినని అతడు చెప్పుచున్నాడు.
எப்பொழுது கைவிட்டார்?
When was he left?
ఎప్పుడు విడిచిపెట్టెను?
அவன் சொல்லுகிறான், நான் வியாதிப்பட்ட போது என் எஜமான் என்னை கைவிட்டார்.
He said, when I fell sick, that's when my master forsook me.
నేను కాయల పడగానే యజమానుడు నన్ను విడిచిపెట్టి పోయినని చెప్పెను.
எவ்வளவு பரிதாபமா இந்த வார்த்தை அவன் சொல்லியிருப்பான், என்னுடைய எஜமான் என்னை கைவிட்டார்.
See what a pitiful word he was saying, when my master had left me.
అతడు మిక్కిలి సానుభూతితో నా యజమానుడు నన్ను విడిచిపెట్టి పోయినని చెప్పి ఉండవచ్చును.
இந்த வார்த்தை அவன் சொல்லும்போது எவ்வளவு துக்கத்தோடு சொல்லியிருப்பான், என்னுடைய எஜமான் என்னை கைவிட்டார்.
When he said this word, with what an amount of sadness he would have said that, saying my master had left me.
ఆ యొక్క మాటను చెప్పినప్పుడు నా యొక్క యజమానుడు నన్ను విడిచిపెట్టి పోయినాడని చెప్పి ఎంతో దుఃఖంతో చెప్పి
దావీదు కాణబట్టిరుందార్.
But David was found to inquire of him.
అయితే అతన్ని విచారించుటకు దావీదు కనిపించినాడు.
நீ யார், நீ எவிடத்தான் எனதான விசாரித்து அவனுக்கு எனதான இந்த 4 காரியங்களை கொடுக்கிறார்.
Asking as to who he was and which place that he belonged to, he provided these 4 things to him.
నీవు ఏ దేశపు వాడవు, ఎక్కడి వచ్చిదవని చెప్పి అడిగి అతనికి ఒక 4 కార్యములు ఇచ్చుచున్నాడు.
నిలవరం కైవిడపడదాన నిలవరం.
And his situation was the one in which he was forsaken.
అతడు విడిచిపెట్టబడినటువంటి పరిస్థితి.
சிலவேளை இவனை போல கூட நம் கைவிடப்பட்டதான நிலவரத்தோட தேவ சமூகத்துக்கு வந்திருக்கலாம்.
Sometimes we also may have come to the presence of God in a state where you've been forsaken.
కొన్నిసార్లు మనము కూడా అందరి చేత చేయి విడిచిపెట్టబడిన స్థితిలో వచ్చి ఇందుము.
புருஷன் மனைவினால கைவிடப்பட்டிருக்கலாம், மனைவி புருஷனால கைவிடப்பட்டிருக்கலாம், பெற்றோர் பிள்ளைகளால கைவிடப்பட்டிருக்கலாம், பிள்ளைகள் பெற்றோர்களால் கைவிடப்பட்டிருக்கலாம்.
Husbands may have been forsaken by the wives, or the wives vice versa. The parents may have been forsaken by the children, and also children vice versa.
భర్త చేయి విడిచినటువంటి భార్యలు, భార్య చేయి విడిచినటువంటి భర్తలు, పిల్లలు చేయి విడిచినటువంటి తల్లిదండ్రులు, తల్లిదండ్రులు చేయి విడిచినటువంటి పిల్లలు, ఈ రీతిగా దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి వచ్చి ఉందరు.
நீங்க எத்தனோ குடும்பங்களை பார்க்கும்போது இப்படிப்பட்டதான நிலவரம் காணப்படுகிறது. கைவிடப்பட்டதான நிலவரத்தை நாம் பார்க்க முடிகிறது.
When we consider many families these days, we are able to notice an experience of being forsaken.
ఈ యొక్క విషయం మనం చూచినప్పుడు ఈ యొక్క దినములందు అనేక కుటుంబములందు ఇది కనిపించున్నది.
அதுபோலவே கைவிடப்பட்டதான நிலவரத்தோட நீங்க தேவ சமூகத்துக்கு வந்திருக்கீங்களா?
In the same manner, have you come to the presence of God having been forsaken?
ఈ రీతిగా మీరు చేయి విడవబడినటువంటి పరిస్థితిలో దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి వచ్చి ఉన్నారా?
இப்படிப்பட்ட நிலவரத்தை மாற்றி நம்மை உயிர்ப்பிக்க கூடியதான ஒரு தேவன் நமக்கு இருக்கிறார் என்ற விசுவாசிங்க.
But believe we have God in the midst of us who will change a situation such as this and will quicken us.
ఇటువంటి కార్యములను ప్రభు మన జీవితమందు మార్చి వేసి మనల్ని తెప్పరిల్ల చేయుటకు,
கைவிடப்பட்டதான நிலவரத்திலிருந்து நம்மை விடுவிக்க நம்முடைய தேவன் வல்லவர் என்ற விசுவாசிங்க.
Believe our God is able to deliver us from a state where we've been forsaken.
చేయి విడవబడినటువంటి పరిస్థితి నుండి దేవుడు మనల్ని విడిపించుటకు శక్తిమంతుడని విశ్వసించుడి.
இந்த 4 விதமான அனுபவத்தோட காணப்படுதான இவனை தேடி தாவீது மனுஷர்கள் வந்தார்கள்.
Man who was found in this 4 states of life, the men of David came in search of him.
ఈ యొక్క 4 విధములైనటువంటి అనుభవములతో ఉండినటువంటి ఒక వ్యక్తిని వెతికి దావీదు యొక్క వ్యక్తులు వచ్చి ఉన్నారు.
அல்லாஹ்வுக்கு அவனை வெளியே இருக்கிற ஒரு அனுபவம் இருந்தது.
First and the foremost, he had an experience of being found at the field.
మొదటిగా అతడు పొలములో కనిపించినాడు.
இரண்டாவதாக ஒரு வேலைக்காரனா இருக்கிறான்.
Secondly, he was a servant.
రెండవదిగా అతడు ఒక దాసుడైనాడు.
மூன்றாவதாக கொடிய வியாதியினால் பீடிக்கப்பட்டிருந்தான்.
And thirdly, he was plagued by a severe sickness.
మూడవదిగా అతడు తీవ్రమైన వ్యాధితో ఉన్నాడు.
நான்காவதாக கைவிடப்பட்டதான அனுபவத்தோட காணப்படுகிறார்.
And fourthly, he was found as a person who was forsaken.
నాలుగవదిగా చేయి విడవబడిన అనుభవంలో కనిపించినాడు.
இந்த 4 விதமான அனுபவத்தோட நீ தேவ சமூகத்துக்கு வந்திருந்தால் இன்றைக்கு உங்களுடைய அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தரால் மாற்ற முடியும் என்று விசுவாசிங்க.
In case you have come in these 4 experience to the presence of God, believe today the Lord can change your condition.
ఈ యొక్క 4 విధములైనటువంటి అనుభవంతో నేడు దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి వచ్చి ఉండినట్లయితే ప్రభు మీకు సహాయం చేదురని మీరు నమ్ముడి.
இவனுடைய நிலவரம் மாற்றப்பட வேண்டும் என்றால், இவன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட வேண்டும் என்றால், இவனுக்கு 4 பொருட்கள் கொடுக்கப்பட வேண்டும்.
If this situation will have to change and that he should be quickened, he then will have to be provided these 4 things.
ఈ యొక్క పరిస్థితి మార్చబడి అతడు తెప్పరిల్ల చేయబడి నిమిత్తము 4 కార్యములు అతనికి ఇవ్వవలెను.
வருஷ கடைசியில் நம்முடைய நிலவரம் மாற்றப்பட்டு நான் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட வேண்டும் என்றால் இன்றைக்கு இந்த 4 காரியங்கள் நாம் கூட பெற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டாம்.
Even as we have come to the last phase of this year, if at all our condition will have to be changed and that we also need to be quickened, we then will have to have these 4 experiences, these 4 things.
ఈ యొక్క సంవత్సరాంతమునకు వచ్చినటువంటి మన యొక్క పరిస్థితులు మార్చబడి మనం తెప్పరిల్ల చేయబడి నిమిత్తము ఈ యొక్క 4 కార్యములు మనకి ఇవ్వబడవలెను.
அப்பம் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
The bread was given.
ఈ యొక్క అన్నం అతనికి ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నది.
தண்ணீர் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
He was also given water.
అతనికి దాహమునకు నీళ్లు ఇవ్వబడెను.
அத்திப்பழங்கள் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
And he was given figs.
అంజూరు పడ అతనికి ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నది.
వற்றலான ద్రాక్ష కులంగళం அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
And then he also was given clusters of raisins.
తర్వాత 2 ద్రాక్ష గెలలు అతనికి ఇచ్చిరి.
இந்த 4 விதமான காரியங்களுடைய ஆவிக்குரிய அர்த்தத்தை நான் சொல்லுகிறேன்.
Now I will share with you the spiritual interpretation for these 4 things.
ఈ యొక్క 4 కార్యముల యొక్క ఆత్మీయ అర్థమును నేను చెప్పెదను.
4 అనుభవం நாம் பெற்றுக்கொண்டால் இன்றைக்கு நாம் ஒவ்வொருவரும் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட்டு தான் இங்கிருந்து நாம் கடந்து போவோம்.
After receiving these things, every one of us will return from here as the ones that have been quickened.
మన యొక్క జీవితమందు మార్చబడి 4 విధములైన కార్యములు పొందుకొని జీవింప చేయబడి వెళ్ళెదము.
அப்பத்தை பற்றி பிற்பாடு நான் சொல்லுகிறேன்.
I will share later about bread.
ఈ యొక్క భోజనం లేక రొట్టెను గురించి తర్వాత చెప్పెదను.
தண்ணீர் என்று சொல்லும்போது அது சுத்திகரிப்பை காட்டுகிறேன்.
But when it said of water, that speaks about sanctification.
ఈ యొక్క దాహమునకు నీళ్ళని చెప్పినప్పుడు అది శుద్ధీకరణ అయినది.
தேவஜனமாகிய நாம் ஒவ்வொருவரும் சுத்திகரிக்கப்பட வேண்டும். அதான் தண்ணீர்னால உண்டாகிற ஒரு அனுபவம்.
Even we as the people of God will have to be sanctified. Then we need to have an experience of water.
దేవుని యొక్క జలమైనటువంటి మనము శుద్ధీకరింపబడవాలంటే ఈ యొక్క నీళ్ళ వంటి అనుభవము కావాలెను.
யாத்திராகமம் 30ஆம் அதிகாரம் 18-19 வசனங்களை வாசிக்கும் போது ஆசாரியன் தம்முடைய ஆரோன் தன்னுடைய பிள்ளைகள் ஆசீர்வாத கூடாத ஊழியம் செய்ய முன்பாக கைகளும் கழுவ வேண்டும், காதுகளும் கழுவ வேண்டாம். அது ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பு கிடையாது.
As we read the book of Exodus chapter 13 verses 18 and 19, when the sons of Aaron will have to come and assist him in the ministry in the tabernacle for their sanctification, they will have to wash their hands as well as their feet.
నిర్గమకాండము 30వ అధ్యాయము 18-19 వాక్యములందు చదివినప్పుడు అహరోను అతని యొక్క కుమారులు ప్రత్యక్షపు గుడారమందు సేవ చేయ నిమిత్తము వారు తమ యొక్క కాళ్ళను చేతులను నీళ్లలో కడుక్కొనవలెను.
ஆகையால் தண்ணீர்னால கழுவப்பட வேண்டும் என்று சொல்லும்போது ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பை காட்டுகிறேன்.
Therefore, when it is said that they will have to be washed by the water, that means they need to be that shows sanctification to us.
కావున నీళ్లతో కడుక్కొనవలని చెప్పినప్పుడు అది శుద్ధీకరణను చూపుచున్నది.
கழுவுகிறதற்கு வெண்கலத்தால் ஒரு தொட்டியையும் வெண்கலத்தால் அதன் பாதத்தையும் உண்டாக்கி அதை ஆசரிப்பு கூடாரத்திற்கும் பலிபீடத்துக்கும் நடுவே வைத்து அதிலே தண்ணீர் வார்ப்பாயாக. அதனிடத்தில் ஆரோனும் அவன் குமாரரும் தங்கள் கைகளையும் தங்கள் கால்களையும் கழுவ கடவர்கள்.
Thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. And thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein, and Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat.
தண்ணீர்னால் கைகளும் கால்களும் கழுவப்பட வேண்டாம்.
With water they will have to wash their hand and their feet.
నీళ్లతో చేతులను కాళ్ళను కడుక్కొనవలెను.
கைகள் கழுவப்படுவது அது கிரியைகளுக்கு அடையாளமாக காட்டுகிறது.
Washing of the hands refer unto the deeds.
చేతులను కడుగుట అని చెప్పినప్పుడు క్రియలను కడుక్కొనుట అయినది.
கால்களை கழுவப்படுவது நடக்கையை காட்டுகிறது.
And washing of the feet refer unto the dirt.
కాళ్ళను కడుగుట అని చెప్పినప్పుడు మన యొక్క నడక ప్రవర్తన అయినది.
நம்முடைய கிரியைகளும் நம்முடைய நடக்கைகளும் சரிப்படுத்திக் கொள்ள வேண்டும். அதான் கழுவப்படுவது.
Both our deeds and also our walk and the uncleanness of the body will have to be washed.
మన యొక్క క్రియలు మన యొక్క ప్రవర్తన సరి చేయబడవలెను. ఇదే కడుగుట అయినది.
தண்ணீர் கொடுக்கப்பட்டன்னு சொல்லும்போது ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பை காட்டுகிறது. நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்தில் ஒரு சுத்திகரிக்கும் போது ஒரு பெரிய ரிவைவல் உண்டாகிறது.
When there is water that shows about sanctification, and when we go through that, we receive a greater sanctification of our life.
ఈ యొక్క నీళ్లను ఇచ్చుట అని చెప్పినప్పుడు అది శుద్ధీకరణ అయినది. మనం శుద్ధీకరింపబడినప్పుడు గొప్ప ఉజ్జీవము కలుగుచున్నది.
சுத்திகரிக்கப்படும்போது ஒரு ரிவைவல் உண்டாகிறது.
When we are sanctified, there is a revival.
శుద్ధీకరింపబడినప్పుడు గొప్ప ఉజ్జీవము కలుగుచున్నది.
இந்த மனுஷனை உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு தண்ணீர் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது போல இந்த நாட்களில் தேவச்சனமாய நாம் சுத்திகரிக்கப்படும் போது நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்துல ஒரு உயிர்ப்பிக்கிற அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தர் தருகிறார்.
For this man to be quickened, water was given. In the same manner, when we are also sanctified by the water, there also will be the quickening experience even in our lives.
ఈ యొక్క వ్యక్తి తెప్పరిల్ల చేయబట్టకు అతనికి దాహమునకు నీళ్లు ఇవ్వబడినట్లుగా మనము కూడా ఉజ్జీవింప చేయబట్టకు ఈ యొక్క దినములందు శుద్ధీకరింపబడవలెను.
ஆகையால் உங்களுடைய கைகளை கழுவிக்கொள்ளுங்க, உங்களுடைய கால்களை கழுவிக்கொள்ளுங்க.
Therefore, wash your hands as well as wash your feet.
కావున మీ యొక్క చేతులను కాళ్ళను కడుక్కొనుడి.
ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பு உண்டாகட்டும்.
Let there be sanctification.
ఒక శుద్ధీకరణ కలగవలెను.
ஒரு பெரிதான எழுப்புதலை கர்த்தர் நமக்குள்ள உண்டாக்க போகிறார். அதுக்கு ஏற்றதான விதத்துல நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்தை நாம் ஆயத்தப்படுத்திக் கொள்வோம்.
The Lord is going to create a greater revival in our life, but let us get ourselves prepared for that.
గొప్ప ఉజ్జీవమును ప్రభు మన జీవితమందు ఇవ్వబోచున్నారు. దానికి తగినట్లుగా మన జీవితమును మనము సిద్ధపరచుకొనిదము.
கர்த்தருடைய சமூகத்தான ஒவ்வொருவரும் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்புக்கு இடம் கொடுங்க.
Therefore, for everyone to be quickened as you come to the presence of God, give room also for a sanctification in you.
దేవుని సన్నిధానముకు వచ్చిన ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ జీవింపజేయబడ నిమిత్తం ఒక శుద్ధీకరణకు చోటు ఇవ్వుడి.
அடுத்ததாக இந்த தண்ணீர்னால சர்வாங்க தகனமொழியில நாம் படிக்கும்போது அந்த சர்வாங்க தகனமொழி கொண்டு வந்தான அந்த மிருகத்துடைய குடல்கள் கழுவப்பட வேண்டும்.
And subsequently, as we also read of the water, when the whole burnt offerings are offered unto the Lord, then all the gall, the caul and the intestines will have to be washed by this water before being offered.
తర్వాత మనము సర్వాంగ దహన బలినందు మనము చదివినప్పుడు ఈ యొక్క నీళ్లతో ఆంత్రములను కాళ్ళను కడగవలెను.
லேவியராகமம் 1ஆம் அதிகாரம் 9ஆம் வசனம் வாசிக்கும் போது சர்வாங்க தகன பலியில அந்த பலிமிருகத்துடைய குடல்கள் தண்ணீர்னால கழுவ வேண்டும். குடல்களையும் தொடையும் தண்ணீர்னால கழுவ வேண்டும் என்று படிக்கிறோம்.
As we read in the book of Leviticus chapter 1 verse 9 says, before it is being offered, the invert and his legs shall be washed in water.
లేవియకాండము 1వ అధ్యాయము 9వ వాక్యమందు చదివినప్పుడు దాని యొక్క ఆంత్రములను తొడను నీళ్లతో కడగవలెను.
ஆசைங்க.
அதன் குடல்களையும் தொடைகளையும் அவன் தண்ணீரினால் கழுவானாக.
போதும்.
His inwards and his legs shall he wash in water.
குடல்களை தண்ணீர்னால கழுவ வேண்டும்.
The inwards will have to be washed in water.
ఆంత్రములను నీళ్లతో కడగవలెను.
குடல் என்ன காட்டுகிறது?
What does the inwards mean to us?
ఈ యొక్క ఆంత్రములనగా ఏమై ఉన్నవి?
நம்முடைய உள்ளான ஜீவித்த கால உள்ளான ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பையும் காட்டுகிறது.
That only speaks about our inner life, therefore the inner sanctification.
మన యొక్క అంతరంగ జీవితం యొక్క శుద్ధీకరణ ఉన్నది.
குடல்களை வெளியே தெரியாது.
The inwards are not seen outside.
ఈ యొక్క ఆంత్రములు బయటికి తెలియటలేవు.
அதுபோல நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்துக்குதான உள்ளான காரியம் யாருக்குமே தெரியாது, அது கூட கழுவப்பட வேண்டாம்.
In the same manner, the deeper things of our life is not seen to anybody outwardly, but also that will have to be sanctified, washed.
ఆ రీతిగానే మన యొక్క అంతరంగ కార్యములు అవి బయటికి తెలియవు, అవి కూడా శుద్ధీకరించబడవలెను.
ரகசிய காரியங்கள் யாருக்குமே தெரியாம சில காரியங்கள் நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்தில் இருக்கலாம், சுத்திகரிக்கப்படாத சில காரியம் இருக்கலாம், அது கூட வெளியரங்கமாக்க வேண்டும். அப்போதான் நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்துல உயிர்ப்பிக்கிற அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தர் தருவார்.
There are certain secret things, they are very secret unto us, nobody will know, it is not seen outside. The Lord only knows. Even that will have to be washed and thus sanctified.
ఎవరికి తెలియనటువంటి అంతరంగ కార్యములు, రహస్యమైనటువంటి కార్యములు మనలో ఉండును. వాటిని బహిరంగ పరిచినప్పుడు అవి కడిగి శుద్ధీకరింపబడుచున్నవి.
ரகசியமான காரியங்கள் யாருக்கு தெரியாத சில காரியங்களை நம்முடைய உள்ளத்துல நாம் ஒளித்து வைத்திருப்போம். அதிலிருந்து விடுதலை பெற்றுக் கொள்வதற்கு அவை கர்த்தருடைய சமூகத்தில் நாம் அறிக்கை செய்ய வேண்டும். அப்பொழுதுதான் ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பு உண்டாகும்.
There may be certain secret things in our heart which nobody knows. We also may not have revealed that to any, but even from that to be sanctified in the presence of God with a sincere heart, we will have to make a confession.
రహస్యమైనటువంటి కార్యములు ఎవరికి కూడా తెలియకుండా మన యొక్క హృదయం నందు ఉంచుకొని మన ముందుము అవి దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానం వద్ద మనం ఒప్పుకోలు చేసినప్పుడు అవి కడగబడి శుద్ధీకరింపబడుచున్నవి.
ஒரு இடத்துல ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பு கூட்டத்தை நான் நடத்தி கொண்டிருந்தேன்.
In a particular place I was conducting the sanctification meeting.
ఒక స్థలమందు నేను శుద్ధీకరణ కూటములు జరుపుచూ ఉంటిని.
அந்த சுத்திகரிப்பு கூட்டத்துல கடைசி நேரத்துல ஒரு தீர்க்கதரிசனம் உண்டானது. ஒரு ஊழியக்கார சகோதரி தீர்க்கதரிசனம் சொன்னாங்க.
In the last minute of the last meeting, when the meeting was about to be over, through a worker sister, a prophecy came up.
ఒక చివరి కూటమి యొక్క చివరి సమయమందు ఒక దైవ సేవకురాలైన సేవకురాలు ప్రవచనం చెప్పిరి.
நீ செய்யறது யாருக்கு தெரியாது நினைக்கிறியா? நீ செய்யறது எல்லாம் எனக்கு தெரியும். நீ அறிக்கையிடலன்னு சொன்னா உங்களுடைய பேரை நான் சொல்லுவேன்னு சொன்னதான ஒரு தீர்க்கதரிசனம் உண்டானது.
The prophecy came up like this: do you think whatever you do is not known to anybody? I know all things that you do. If you do not confess, I will call your name out.
నీవు చేసినటువంటి కార్యం ఎవరికి తెలియదనుకొంచున్నావా? నువ్వు చేసినటువంటి కార్యం నాకు తెలియను, నువ్వు దాన్ని ఒప్పుకోలు చేయవలను, లేనట్లయితే పేరు చెప్పదని ప్రవచింపబడెను.
அது கூட்டத்தை முடிக்கிற நேரம் ஆயிருந்து அப்படின்னா நான் ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணி அந்த கூட்டத்தை முடித்து விட்டேன்.
Because that was the time to end the meeting. After praise, I concluded the meeting.
ఆ యొక్క కూటమును ముగించే సమయం అయినది కనుక నేను స్తోత్రం చెప్పి కూటం ముగించితిని.
கூட்டம் முடித்த பிற்பாடு அறைக்குள்ள போன பிற்பாடு ஒரு வாலிபன் என்னை சந்திக்கும்படியாக வந்தார்.
After concluding the meeting, when I entered into my room, a young man came to meet me.
ఆ యొక్క కూటము ముగించబడిన తర్వాత ఒక యవనస్తుడు నన్ను చూచుటకు నాకు గదికి వచ్చిరి.
பாஸ்டர் இன்னைக்கு சொன்னதான தீர்க்கதரிசனம் எனக்கு தான் சொல்லி அவர் செய்த காரியங்கள சொல்ல ஆரம்பித்தார்.
He confided saying, Pastor, the prophecy was for me, and then he later confessed to me as to what are the things that he has done.
పాస్టర్ గారు ఈ దినం చెప్పబడినటువంటి ప్రవచనం నాకు ఉన్నది అని చెప్పి అతని యొక్క కార్యములను నాతో ఒప్పుకోలు చేసిరి.
உங்க அப்பா ஒரு போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டரா இருந்தார்.
My father was a postmaster.
உங்க அப்பா ஒரு போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டரா இருந்தார்.
అతని యొక్క తండ్రి ఒక పోస్ట్ మాస్టర్ గా ఉండిరి.
ஆகிய ஆபீஸும் வீடு ஒன்றா இருந்தது.
And therefore office and the house was one.
ఆ యొక్క ఆఫీసు ఇల్లు ఒకటిగా ఉండెను.
எல்லாரையும் அனுப்பிவிட்டு நீங்க எல்லாரும் போங்க, நான் வீடை பூட்டி விட்டு வருவேன்னு சொல்லி அவரு ஆபீஸ்ல உட்காந்து ஃபோன் பண்ணி தனக்கு விருப்பமான ஒரு சகோதரியோட தவறான விதத்துல பேசிக்கொண்டே இருப்பார்.
After sending everybody home saying that I will lock up and come home, he then will call up somebody, the woman whom he knew and liked. He would talk to her for a very long time.
అతడు అందరినీ నేను వచ్చేదని మీరు వెళ్ళమని చెప్పి అందరినీ పంపివేసిన తర్వాత ఒక స్త్రీతో అధికమైన సమయం మాట్లాడి ఉన్నాడు.
நான் எல்லா சகோதரன் யோசித்தேன், அவர் அன்னைக்கு அறிக்கையிடும் போதா இவருடைய சீல் இப்படி எல்லாம் இருக்குமா நான் நினைத்தேன். அவர் நல்ல சகோதரன் நான் யோசித்தேன், ஆனால் அவர் அறிக்கையிடும் போதா இவர் இப்படி இருக்காருன்னு நான் யோசித்தேன்.
I thought he was a good brother, but on that day when he made a confession, I began to realize about himself.
అతడు ఒక మంచి సహోదరుడు అనుకుని ఉన్నాను. ఆ దినమనే అతడు ఇటువంటి వ్యక్తి అని నేను తెలుసుకుంటేనే.
இது போல நாம் எல்லாம் யோசிப்போம், அவருடைய ஜீவிதத்தில் ரகசியமான காரியங்களை காணப்படும். அது கர்த்தருடைய சம்பந்த அறிக்கையிடும் போது அவர் சுத்திகரிப்பு உண்டாகும்.
In this manner, we also may be thinking of some, but only when they are making a confession in God's presence, then there will be sanctification.
ఈ రీతిగా కొన్ని కార్యములు జీవితమందు కనిపించిన వీటిని దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానమందు ఒప్పుకోలు చేయవలెను.
அதான் உள்ளான ஜீவியத்தில் ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பு உண்டாகிறது, அதான் குடல்கள் கழுவப்படுவது.
That is how there is a deeper sanctification in the inner life, and that is what called here as the washing of the inwards.
ఇది అంతరంగ జీవితమునందు ఒక శుద్ధీకరణ కలుగుచున్నది. ఇది ఆంతరములను కడుగుటయున్నది.
நான் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு ஒரு ஆழமான சுத்திகரிப்பு உண்டாகணும், அதான் தண்ணீர்னால் கழுவப்படுவதை காட்டுகிறது.
For us to be quickened, there must be a deeper sanctification, and that is what here referred as the washing of the water.
మనము జీవింపజేయబడు నిమిత్తము ఇక లోతైనటువంటి శుద్ధీకరణ అవసరమైనది. ఇక నీళ్లతో కడుగబడవలెను.
இந்த காலை வேளையில தேவ சமுதாயம் வந்ததான ஒவ்வொருவரும் இந்த தண்ணீர்னால உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுங்க, கழுவப்படுங்க.
Therefore, everyone that had come to God's presence this morning, that for you to be quickened, be washed by water.
కావున ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఉదయకాలంలో దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానమందు ఇక నీళ్లతో కడగబడవలెను.
கைகளை கழுவப்படுங்க, கால்களை கழுவப்படட்டும், உள்ளான மனுஷன் குடல்களும் கழுவப்படட்டும்.
The hands must be washed, the feet must be washed, and for your inner man to be washed, your inward also must be washed.
మన యొక్క చేతులు కడగబడవలెను, కాళ్ళు కడగబడవలెను, మన యొక్క అంతరంగ జీవితం కూడా కడగబడవలెను.
தண்ணீர்னால கழுவப்படும் போது நமக்குள்ள பெரிதான உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படக்கூடிய ஒரு அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தர் தருகிறார்.
When we are washed by the water, then the Lord give unto us the experience of being sanctified in our inner man.
మనము నీళ్ల చేత కడగబడినప్పుడు జీవింప చేయబడినటువంటి అనుభవమును ప్రభు మనకిచ్చెదరు.
இந்த அனுபவம் இல்லாமல் ஒருவராக இருந்து கடந்து போக வேண்டாம்.
Without this experience, may none go out from here.
ఈ యొక్క అనుభవం లేకుండా ఎవరు కూడా ఇక్కడ నుండి తిరిగి వెళ్ళకూడదు.
இந்த அனுபவத்தை எத்தனை பேர் வாஞ்சிக்கிறீங்க?
How many of you desire this experience?
ఈ యొక్క అనుభవం ఎంతమంది కోరుచున్నారు?
கழுவப்பட வேண்டும் என்று எத்தனை பேர் வாஞ்சிக்கிறீங்க?
How many of you desire to be washed?
కడగబడవలని చెప్పి ఎంతమంది కోరుచున్నారు?
தண்ணீர்னால் கழுவப்பட வேண்டும் வாஞ்சியுள்ளவங்க ஒரு ஹல்லேலூயா சொல்லுங்க.
Hallelujah!
கர்த்தருடைய பரிசுத்த நாமத்துக்கு ஸ்தோத்திரம்.
Praise be to the holy name of the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రము.
இரண்டாவதாக அத்தி பழங்கள் அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
Secondly, he was given the cake of fig.
రెండవదిగా అతనికి అంజూర పాడలోని ముక్క ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నది.
அத்தி பழங்கள் என்ன காட்டுகிறது?
What does the figs refer to?
ఈ యొక్క అంజూర పాడనగా ఏమై ఉన్నది?
ஒரு மதுரமான ஜீவித்தை காட்டுகிறது.
That only speaks about a precious sweet life.
மதுரமான ஜீவியம்,
Sweet life.
ఇది ఒక మాధుర్యమైన జీవితమై ఉన్నది.
அத்தி பழங்கள் ஒரு மதுரமான ஜீவித்தை காட்டுகிறது.
Figs show unto us a sweet life.
ఈ యొక్క అంజూరపు పండ్లను చెప్పినప్పుడు అది మాధుర్యమై ఉన్నది.
நியாயாதிபதிகளின் புஸ்தகம் 9ஆம் அதிகாரம் 11ஆம் வசனத்தை வாசிக்கும் போது அத்தி பழங்கள் ஒரு மதுரமான ஜீவித்தை காட்டுகிறது என்று நாம் படிக்கிறோம்.
We read as the book of Judges chapter 9 verse 11, there the fig speak unto us a life that is sweet.
న్యాయాధిపతులు 9వ అధ్యాయము 11వ వాక్యమును చదివినప్పుడు అంజూర పండ్లను చెప్పినప్పుడు అదొక మాధుర్యమైన జీవితమై ఉన్నది.
அதற்கு அத்திமரம், நான் என் மதுரத்தையும் என் நற்கனியையும் விட்டு மரங்களை அரசாள போவேனோ என்றது.
The fig tree said unto them, should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit and go to be promoted over the trees?
இதுக்கு இடையில ஒரு அறிவிப்பு படிங்க.
இந்த வண்டிகள் எல்லாம் வழியில வச்சிருக்கீங்க, உடனே எடுங்க. ஹீரோ எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் TN02 BC 8113, TVS Victor TN220, T2579, Suzuki Swish TN05 AX 6328 உடனடியாக அகற்ற வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொள்ளப்படுகிறீர்கள்.
கர்த்தருடைய பரிசுத்த நாமத்துக்கு ஸ்தோத்திரம்.
Praise be to the holy name of the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క పరిశుద్ధ నామమునకు స్తోత్రము.
இந்த வசனத்தை தமிழ்ல மறுபடியும் படிங்க.
Let's read this verse again.
அதற்கு அத்திமரம், நான் என் மதுரத்தையும் என் நற்கனியையும் விட்டு மரங்களை அரசாள போவேனோ என்றது.
மதுரமான பழங்கள்.
Here it is said as sweetness.
మాధుర్యం ఇచ్చినటువంటి మంచి ఫలములు.
அத்தின்னு சொல்லும்போது ஒரு மதுரமான ஜீவித்தை காட்டுகிறது.
Therefore here when we speak about fig, that refer to a sweet life.
ఈ యొక్క అంజూర పండ్లను చెప్పినప్పుడు ఒక మధురమైనటువంటి జీవితం అయినది.
அந்த మనుషனுக்கு அத்தி பழங்கள் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது போல தேவஜனமாய நாம் கூட இந்த மதுரமான ஒரு அனுபவத்தை பெற வேண்டும்.
As to how that man was given figs, even as we are the children of God will have to have the sweet life.
ఆ యొక్క మనుషునికి ఈ యొక్క అంజూర పండ్లు ఇవ్వబడినట్లుగా మనం ఒక మధురమైనటువంటి జీవితం పొందుకొనవలెను.
மதுரமான ஜீவன் எப்படி கிடைக்கிறது?
How does one get the sweet life?
ఈ యొక్క మధురమైనటువంటి జీవితం ఎలాగున దొరుకుచున్నది?
தேவ சமூகத்தின் மூலமா இந்த மதுரமான அனுபவத்தை கடந்து தருகிறார்.
It is only through the presence of God, in the presence of God, a man receives the sweet life by God.
దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి మనం వచ్చినప్పుడే ఈ యొక్క మధురమైన జీవితం లభించున్నది.
இந்த உலகத்துல எங்க போனாலும் மதுரமான ஒரு ஜீவன் கிடையாது. தேவ சமூகம் தான் நமக்கு மதுரமா இருக்கிற.
Whithersoever in the world one may go, they may not find the sweet life, but only in God's presence one could find sweet life.
మనం లోకమందు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినప్పటికీ ఈ యొక్క మాధుర్యమైన జీవితం మనకు లభించదు. దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానమందు మాత్రమే మనకు దొరుకుచున్నది.
సంగీతంలో வாசிக்கும் போது என்னுடைய தியானம் இனிமையானது என்று நாம் படிக்கிறோம்.
As we read in the book of Psalms, he says, sweet is my meditation.
మనం కీర్తన ఎంతో మనం చదివినప్పుడు నాకు ధ్యానము ఇంపుగా ఉండునుగా కానీ చదువుచున్నాము.
104 சங்கீதம் 34 வசனத்தை வாசிக்கும் போது என்னுடைய தியானம் இனிமையானது அல்லது மதுரமானது சொல்லலாம்.
In the book of Psalms he says that his meditation was sweet, or it was good and tasty.
104వ కీర్తన 34వ వాక్యమందు చదివినప్పుడు నా యొక్క ధ్యానం ఆయనకు ఇంపుగా లేక మధురముగా ఉండునుగా కానీ చదువుచున్నాము.
நான் அவரை தியானிக்கும் தியானம் இனிதாயிருக்கும், நான் கர்த்தருக்குள் மகிழ்வேன்.
My meditation of him shall be sweet, I will be glad in the Lord.
தியானிக்கிற தியானம் இனிமையானது மதுரமானது.
Meditation is sweet and it is glad.
మనం ధ్యానించినటువంటి ధ్యానము ఇంపుగా మధురముగా ఉండవలెను.
தேவஜனமாகிய நம்மை கர்த்தர் தம்முடைய சமூகத்துக்கு கொண்டு வந்து அத்தி பழங்களினால் நம்மை நிரப்புகிறார்.
Even as we are the people of God, the Lord having brought us unto his presence is filling us with figs.
దేవుని యొక్క జల్లమైనటువంటి మనల్ని ప్రభు దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలోకి తెచ్చినది అంజూర పండ్లతో నింపుటకు.
இந்த மதுரமான அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தர் நமக்கு தருகிறார்.
The Lord give unto us the experiences of sweetness.
ఈ యొక్క మాధుర్యమైన అనుభవమును ప్రభు మనకి ఇచ్చుచున్నారు.
ஒரு மனுஷன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படக்கூடாத இடம் தான் தேவ சமூகம்.
God's presence is the place where a man could be quickened.
ఒక మనుషుడు జీవింప చేయబడవాలంటే దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధి అవసరము.
தேவ சமூகத்தில் எந்த அளவுக்கு நாம் இருப்போமோ, எந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம ஒப்பு கொடுக்கிறோமோ, அந்த அளவுக்கு கர்த்தர் நம்மை உயிர்ப்பிப்பார்.
Therefore, to the extent to which we abide in God's presence and to the extent to which we give room for God's presence in us, to that extent the Lord will quicken us.
దేవుని యొక్క సన్నిధానంలో మనం ఎంతగా కోరుచున్నామో, ఎంతగా అనుభవించున్నామో, అంతగా యొక్క మాధుర్యమును మనం అనుభవించుదుము.
ஜெபத்தின் மூலமா உயிர்ப்பிக்கிறார்.
Through prayer the Lord quickens us.
ప్రార్థన ద్వారా జీవింప చేయబడుచున్నాము.
சாட்சிகள் மூலமா கர்த்தர் உயிர்ப்பிப்பார்.
And through the testimony the Lord quickens us.
సాక్ష్యముల ద్వారా మనం జీవింప చేయబడుచున్నాము.
தேவனுடைய வசனத்தை கேட்கும்போது பிரசங்கத்தின் மூலமா கர்த்தர் நம்மை உயிர்ப்பிப்பார்.
Even as we are listening to the word of God through the messages, then the Lord quickens us too.
దేవుని యొక్క వాక్యమును వినినప్పుడు వాక్యం ద్వారా జీవింప చేయబడుచున్నాము.
பாட்டுகளை பாடும்போது அந்த பாட்டு மூலமா கர்த்தர் நம்மை உயிர்ப்பிப்பார்.
While the songs are sung, through the songs also the Lord quickens us.
పాటలను పాడినప్పుడు పాటల ద్వారా దేవుడు మనల్ని ఉజ్జీవింపజేయుచున్నారు.
தீர்க்கதரிசி வசனத்தை கேட்கும்போது அது மூலமா கர்த்தர் நம்மை உயிர்ப்பிப்பார்.
As we are listening to the prophecies, even through the prophecy the Lord quicken us.
ప్రవచనము చెప్పబడినప్పుడు ప్రవచనముల ద్వారా కూడా ప్రభువు మనల్ని జీవింపచేయుదురు.
ஒட்டுமொத்தமாக சொல்ல போனால் இந்த அனுபவங்கள் நமக்கு மதுரமாய் காணப்படுகிறது.
Precisely speaking, thus all these experiences are a sweetness to us.
ఇవన్నీ మనము కలిసి చెప్పినట్లయితే ఇవన్నీ మనకు మధురముగా ఉన్నవి.
இந்த மதுரமான அனுபவங்கள் உலகத்தில் எங்க போனாலும் கிடைக்காது.
These sweet experiences cannot be received anywhere in the world.
ఈ యొక్క మధురమైనటువంటి అనుభవములు లోకమందు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా కూడా మనకు లభించవు.
மதுரமான அனுபவங்களை கர்த்தர் தருகிறார்.
The Lord unto us give experiences that are sweet.
ఈ యొక్క మధురమైనటువంటి అనుభవములు దేవుడు మనకి ఇచ్చుచున్నారు.
கைவிடப்பட்டதான அந்த மனுஷனுக்கு இந்த மதுரமான அனுபவங்களை கிடைத்தது.
And to this man who was forsaken, this sweet experience was given.
ఈ యొక్క చేయుడువబడినటువంటి ఆ యొక్క వ్యక్తికి ఈ యొక్క మధురమైన అనుభవం లభించినది.
வெளியில இருந்து யாரு சகாயம் இல்லாமல் ஏச்சுமான கைவிடப்பட்டதான அந்த மனுஷனை நீங்க போய் கேட்டால் என்ன சொல்லுவார்? நான் கைவிடப்பட்டிருந்தேன், இப்பொழுது எனக்கு மதுரமான அனுபவத்தை கர்த்தர் தந்தார். எவ்வளவு நன்றியோட அவன் தேவனை துதிப்பான்.
If only this man who was in the field, forsaken by the master and left all alone to fend for himself, and if one will have to go and ask this man after receiving all this experience, what will he say with a thankful heart? Now I have received sweet experiences in my life.
అతడు పొలములో ఉండి విచారించిన కూడా ఎవరు లేకుండా యజమానుని చేత చేయుడబడినటువంటి వ్యక్తికి మధురమైనటువంటి అనుభవం లభించినప్పుడు అతడు ఎంతగా కృతజ్ఞుడిగా కనిపించును.
நான் கைவிடப்பட்டிருந்தேன், இதோ நான் தாவீதோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டேன், நான் தாவீதோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டேன் என்றதான சந்தோஷம் அவனுக்கு இல்லாமல் இருந்திருக்க கூடுமா?
I was forsaken, but at this point in time would he not have had the joy to say that I have now been brought together to be with David?
నేనైతే చేయుడబడి ఉన్నాను, అయితే నేను ఇప్పుడు దావీదుతో చేరుకొని ఉన్నాను అనున్నటువంటి సంతోషం అతనికి లేకుండా పోవునా?
நான் எச்சமானனான கைவிடப்பட்டிருந்தேன், நான் வியாதிப்பட்டிருந்தேன், நான் வெளியிருந்தேன், யாருடைய உதவி இல்லாமல் இருந்தேன், என்னை தாவீது சேர்த்து கொண்டாரே, எனக்கு இப்படிப்பட்ட அனுபவம் கொடுத்தாரே, எனக்கு அத்திப்பழத்தை கொடுத்தாரே, எவ்வளவு மதுரமான ஜீவியம் எழுதாத ஒரு நன்றி அவனுக்கு இல்லாமல் இருந்திருக்க கூடுமா?
Would it be possible for him not to have the gratitude whereby he would have confessed saying, I was forsaken by my master, there was nobody to help me, I was so miserable, but I was gathered by David and then he had given me sweet experiences like that of the figs to me.
నేను నా యజమానుడి చేత చేయుడబడి ఉన్నాను, నేను వ్యాధిగ్రస్తుడనై ఉన్నాను, నేను పొలములో ఉండినాను, నన్ను విచారించిన కూడా ఎవరు లేరు, అయితే దావీదుతో నేను చేరి ఉన్నాను, నాకు ఒక మధురమైన అనుభవం దొరికి ఉన్నదని చెప్పి కృతజ్ఞత లేనివాడుగా ఉండునా?
கைவிடப்பட்டதான நான் தாவீதோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டேன் என்று எத்தனை பேருக்கு நன்றி இருக்கிறது?
How many of you are thankful to say I was forsaken but now I have been brought to be together with David?
చేయుడబడినటువంటి నేను దావీదుతో చేర్చబడి ఉన్నాను అన్నటువంటి కృతజ్ఞత ఎంతమంది కలదు?
நன்றி ஹல்லேலூயா சொல்லுங்க.
Hallelujah!
என்று ஜீவிதம் தன்யமாயல்லோ, இயேசுவோடு சேர்ந்தால் பாக்கியமாயல்லோ,
என்று ஜீவிதம் தன்யமாயல்லோ, இயேசுவோடு சேர்ந்தால் பாக்கியமாயல்லோ, கதனவே செல்லோ புது சந்தியாயல்லோ, சோக சந்தோஷம் இன்னும் தந்தல்லோ, கதனவே செல்லோ புது சந்தியாயல்லோ, கதன சந்தோஷம் இன்னும் தந்தல்லோ.
ஒருவேளை இவனுக்கு இந்த பாட்டு தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா கண்டிப்பா உங்களை போல அல்ல, கையை தட்டி துள்ளி துள்ளி குதிச்சு பாடியிருப்பான்.
Perhaps had only he knew the song, not like you, but he would have clapped his hand aloud and sung the song.
మీ వల్ల యొక్క పాట తనకు తెలిసి ఉండినట్లయితే చేయుడబడినటువంటి అతడు దావీదుతో చేరినప్పుడు అతడు గంతులు వేసి ఎగిరి ఎగిరి పాడి ఉండును.
சோகமா பாடுறாங்க, ஆயிட்டு ஜீவிதம் தன்யம். சோகமா பாடுறீங்க.
You are all singing the song so sorrowful in spirit.
మీరు మిక్కిలి దుఃఖంతో పాట
சந்தோஷத்தோட பாட வேண்டாமா?
Should we not sing the song?
ஆயிட்டு ஜீவிதம் தன்யமாயல்லோ,
യേശുവോട് ചേർന്നതാൽ ഭാഗ്യമായല്ലോ. ആയെന്റെ ജീവിതം ധന്യമായല്ലോ. യേശുവോട് ചേർന്നതാൽ ഭാഗ്യമായല്ലോ. പ്രവർത്തിച്ചല്ലോ, പ്രവർത്തിച്ചല്ലോ. സർവസന്തോഷം ഇതളിൽ തന്നല്ലോ. പ്രവർത്തിച്ചല്ലോ, പ്രവർത്തിച്ചല്ലോ. സർവസന്തോഷം ഇതളിൽ തന്നല്ലോ.
மூன்றாவதாக அவனுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டது ஒற்றலான திராட்சை குலைகள் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
Thirdly, he was given clusters of raisins.
మూడవదిగా అతనికి ఇవ్వబడినటువంటి ద్రాక్ష గెలలు ఉన్నవి.
திராட்சை குலைகள் சொல்லும்போது அது ஒரு ஐக்கியத்தை காட்டுகிறது.
When it is said of raisins, that speaks about the fellowship.
ఈ యొక్క ద్రాక్ష గెలలని చెప్పినప్పుడు అది సహవాసమును చూపుచున్నది.
குலைகள் சொல்லும்போது ஒன்றுக்கொன்று எவ்விதமாய் அது ஐக்கியமா இருக்கிறதோ அதை போல தேவச்சினமாய் நாம் சபையில ஐக்கியமா இருக்க வேண்டும்.
When we speak about clusters, in clusters every fruit is joined one together. In the same manner as cluster in the church, we are in fellowship with each other.
ఈ యొక్క గెలలు అని చెప్పినప్పుడు అవి ఒకదానితో ఒకటి ఎలాగనో దగ్గరగా కనిపించినావో ఆ రీతిగానే మనం ఒకరితో ఒకరు సహవాసమును కలిగి ఉండవలెను.
ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமாய் உயிர்ப்பிக்கிற அனுபவம் உண்டு.
Through fellowship there is the experience of being quickened.
ఈ యొక్క సహవాసము ద్వారానే కోల్పోయినటువంటి ఉజ్జీవమును పొందుకొనగలము.
இவன் தனி மனுஷனா இருந்தான், இப்பொழுது தாவீதுடைய சேனையோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டான்.
He was all alone, but now he has become part of the host of David.
అతడైతే ఒక ఒంటరివాడిగా కనిపించినాడు, ఇప్పుడైతే దావీదు యొక్క సైన్యంతో చేరి ఉన్నాడు.
அவனை கேட்டான், என்ன சொல்லுவான்? நான் தனி மனுஷனா இருந்தேன், இப்பொழுது தாவீதுடைய சேனையோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டேன் என்று சொல்லுவான்.
If anybody asked him as to what, he would have said, I was all alone, but now I have joined together with the host of David.
అతన్ని అడిగినట్లయితే చెప్పును, నేను ఒంటరివాడిగా ఉంటిని, ఇప్పుడైతే దావీదు యొక్క సైన్యంతో నేను చేరుకొని ఉన్నాను.
ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமாக தேவஜனமாகிய நாம் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட முடியும்.
It is through fellowship, even as we are the people of God, we could be quickened.
సహవాసమును బట్టి దైవజనమైనటువంటి మనము జీవింపజేయబడదుము.
குடும்பத்தில் ஐக்கியமா இருக்க வேண்டும், சபையில் ஐக்கியமா இருக்க வேண்டும்.
You will have to be in fellowship within the family and also be in fellowship in the church.
కుటుంబమునందు సహవాసమును కలిగి ఉండవలెను, సంఘములోని సహవాసమును కలిగి ఉండవలెను.
இந்த பிரிவினைகளும் நம்முடைய ஜீவிதத்தில் வரக்கூடாது.
There must not be any division whatsoever in our life.
ఎటువంటి విభజనలు మనకు జీవితమందు రాకూడదు.
குடும்பத்தில் பிரிந்து இருக்கக்கூடாது, சபையிலையும் நாம் ஒருவருக்கு ஐக்கியம் இல்லாமல் இருக்கக்கூடாது.
We must not be divided within our family. In the same manner, we must not be without having proper fellowship in the church with each other.
కుటుంబమునందు మనం సహవాసము లేకుండా ఉండకూడదు, సంఘములోని ప్రతి ఒక్కరితో మనం సహవాసము లేకుండా ఉండకూడదు.
அப்படி பிரிஞ்சிருந்தால் உடனே ஐக்கியப்பட வேண்டும், இல்லாட்டால் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட முடியாது.
If they are divided, immediately they should be united. If that is not, they cannot be quickened.
విభజనలు కలిగినట్లయితే వెంటనే సహవాసమును చేర్చుకొనవలెను, లేనట్లయితే మనకు ఉజ్జీవము కలగదు.
குடும்பத்தில் புருஷன் மணி பேசாமல் இருக்கக்கூடாது.
In the family, husband and wife must not be without speaking to each other.
కుటుంబమునందు భార్యాభర్తలు మాట్లాడుకొనకుండా ఉండకూడదు.
ஒரு புருஷன் மணி பேசாமல் இருந்தார்களாம்.
It seems in a particular family, husband and wife have not been talking to each other.
ఒక కుటుంబంలో భార్యాభర్తలు మాట్లాడుకొనకుండా ఉండిరి.
ரொம்ப நாளா பேசாம இருந்தாங்க.
For a long time they would not talk to each other.
వారు చాలా దినములు మాట్లాడుకొనకుండా ఉండిరి.
புருஷனுக்கு டீ வேணும், காஃபி வேணும்னு சொன்னா ஐ வாண்ட் டீ, ஐ வாண்ட் காஃபின்னு சொல்லி பேப்பரில் எழுதி கொடுப்பார், மனைவி காட்டுவார்.
If the husband wanted a cup of tea or coffee, it seems he will write on a piece of paper and show to the wife that he needs coffee.
ఆ యొక్క భర్తకు కాఫీ టీ కావలసి వచ్చినట్లయితే అతడు ఒక కాగితం మీద కాఫీ టీ అని రాసెదరు.
மனைவி கூட டீ ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி காஃபி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி டீ இஸ் ரெடின்னு சொல்லி பேப்பரில் காட்டுவாங்க.
The wife also, it seems, prepare tea or coffee and then write upon a paper and show coffee is ready.
ఆ యొక్క భార్య కూడా కాఫీ టీ వేసుకుని వచ్చి మీకు రెడీగా సిద్ధంగా ఉందని చెప్పి పేపర్లో రాసి చూపించును.
இப்படியே நடந்துட்டே இருக்கு.
This is how it was going on.
ఇది ఎన్ని దినములు ఈ రీతిగా ఉండును.
ஒரு நாள் புருஷன் அதிகாலையிலேயே தன்னுடைய ஆபீஸ் வேலை விஷயமா காலையில் 5 மணிக்கு ட்ரெயினில் போகணும்.
One day, the husband, on behalf of his office work, had to go to the office. Therefore, he was traveling by 5 a.m. in the morning.
ఒక దినమున భర్త ఉదయకాలంలో ఆఫీస్ యొక్క పని నిమిత్తం ఉదయకాలం 5 గంటలకే బయలుదేరి వెళ్ళిరి.
ஆனாலும் மனைவிக்கு பேப்பரில் எழுதி கொடுத்தார், தயவு செய்து என்னை காலையில் 5 மணிக்கு எழுப்பவும்.
Therefore, he wrote on a piece of paper and gave to the wife saying, "Wake me up, please, by 5 a.m."
అతడు భార్యకు రాసి ఇచ్చినాడు, దయచేసి నన్ను ఉదయం 5 గంటలకు లేపవలెను.
அடுத்தது சீட்டு எஸ் சொல்லிட்டு மணி கூட எழுதி காட்டினாங்க.
And then the wife also wrote in a chit yes and showed that to him.
తర్వాత భార్య అలాగే అని చెప్పి రాసి ఉన్నది.
புருஷன் காலையில தூங்கிட்டாரு, 5 மணி ஆச்சு, 6 மணி ஆச்சு, எழும்புல. இவரு எழுப்பி பார்த்தா 6 மணி மேலாச்சு. ஒந்த கோவத்துக்கு அளவில் திட்ட முடியாது, பேப்பரில் எழுதி கொடுத்தாரா, ஏன் என்ன எழுப்பவில்லை.
But the man slept, the husband slept. It was well past 5. At 6 o'clock he woke up. The time was 6. Therefore he was very angry, but he was not talking. Therefore he also wrote on a paper, "Why you did not wake me up?"
ఉదయకాలం 5 గంటలు అయిపోయినది, 6 గంటల సమయమైనది. అతడు లేచినాడు, అతనికి చాలా కోపం వచ్చినది. నువ్వు నన్ను ఎందుకు లేపలేదని చెప్పి ఒక కాగితం మీద రాసిరి.
உடனே மனைவி ரிப்ளை கொடுத்தாங்க, தயவு செய்து உங்களுடைய தலானை கீழே பார்க்கவும்.
But then the wife had given a written reply saying that, "Please look under your pillow."
ఆ యొక్క భార్య మళ్ళా రాసి ఇచ్చినది, దయచేసి మీ యొక్క తల దిండు కింద చూడగలరు.
ஐயா 5 மணி ஆச்சு எழும்புங்கன்னு சொல்லி பேப்பரில் எழுதி தலானை கீழே வச்சிருக்கு.
Because she exactly at 5 a.m. wrote a chit and kept that under his pillow.
సమయం 5 గంటలైనది, దయచేసి లేవండి అని చెప్పి ఆ యొక్క పిల్లో కింద రాసి ఉంచాను.
பேச முடியாது, பேச்சு இல்ல, ப்ளீஸ் தயவுசெய்து 5 மணி ஆச்சு எழுமுங்க சொல்லி பெரிய கொட்டைகள் எழுதி தலாடிகளை சொருகி வச்சிருக்கு.
She could not speak, therefore she wrote in very bold letters saying, "Please, it's 5 a.m. already, wake up."
మాటలు లేవు, ఆమె రాతపూర్వకంగా ప్లీజ్ దయచేసి 5 గంటలైనది లెమ్మని చెప్పి రాసి దిండు కింద పెట్టి ఉన్నది.
அதை இப்போ அவங்க பேச்சு வார்த்தை சரியாச்சு.
And after that they began to talk to each other.
దాని తర్వాత వారిద్దరు మాట్లాడుకొని ఉన్నారు.
அதை போல சீட்டு எழுதி கொடுக்காதீங்க, ஒருத்தர் பேசாம. சிலருக்கு புருஷமணி பேச மாட்டாங்க, அவளுக்கு மீடியேட்டர் வந்து பிள்ளைங்களா இருப்பாங்க. போய் சொல்லு, காஃபி கொண்டு வந்து சொல்லு, வச்சிருக்கேன்னு சொல்லு, குடிக்க சொல்லு. மீடியேட்டர்ஸ் பிள்ளைங்களா இருப்பாங்க சில குடும்பத்தில்.
In the same manner also are some families where the husband and wife will not be talking, but they'll be having mediators, and the mediators are their children, and they will command the children to go and tell the spouses whatever they want to communicate.
కొన్ని కుటుంబంలో చూచినప్పుడు తల్లిదండ్రుల మధ్యలో పిల్లలు వారి మధ్యవర్తులుగా ఉందరు, ఏ విషయమైనా వారికి చెప్పించుదురు.
நீங்க ஏதாவது மீடியேட்டர்ஸ் வச்சிருக்கீங்களா? இல்ல. ஓகே. அத போல குடும்பத்துல ஐக்கியமா இருங்க.
In the same manner,
சபையில ஐக்கியமா இருங்க.
In the same manner, be in fellowship within the family and also stay in fellowship within the church with each other.
మీ యొక్క కుటుంబమునందును సంఘమునందు మీరు సహవాసమును కలిగి ఉండుడి.
ஐக்கியத்தினால் எத்தனோ காரியங்கள் சம்பவிக்கும். 3 காரியங்கள் நான் சொல்ல வரேன்.
Many things will happen as a result of fellowship. However, I will only share 3 things with you.
ఇక సహవాసములు అనేకమైన కార్యములు కలవు. 3 కార్యములు చెప్పెదను.
உபாகமம் 32ஆம் அதிகாரம் 30 வசனத்துல ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமா பலன் கிடைக்கும்.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 30. There we read, "In fellowship there is strength."
ద్వితీయోపదేశకాండము 32వ అధ్యాయము 30వ వాక్యమందు ఈ యొక్క ఐక్యత సహవాసం అనేది బలమై ఉన్నది.
ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமா பலன் கிடைக்கும்.
Through fellowship, through unity we will find strength.
ఈ యొక్క సహవాసం వల్ల బలము కలుగుచున్నది.
ஒருவன் 1000 பேரை ஓட்டுவான், 2 பேர் 10000 பேரை ஓட்டுவாங்க. அதோட அர்த்தம் என்ன? 2 பேர் சேரும்போது பலன் அதிகமா இருக்கும்.
It is said, "One shall chase 1,000 and 2 put 10,000 to flight." What does that mean? When 2 join together, the strength increases.
ఒక్కడు 1000 మందిని తరుమును, ఇద్దరు 10,000 మందిని తరుమునగా అది ఇద్దరు అని చెప్పినప్పుడు బలం అధికమగుచున్నది.
ஆகையால் ஐக்கியம் இருக்கும்போது நமக்கு பலன் அதிகமா இருக்கும்.
Therefore, only when you are in unity and fellowship, your strength increases.
ఈ యొక్క ఐక్యత సహవాసమును బట్టి మనకు బలము కలుగుచున్నది.
அதை மட்டும் வாசிங்க.
Please read.
ஒருவன் 1000 பேரை திரட்டி 2 பேர் 10,000 பேரை ஓட்டுவதெப்படி?
How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight?
பாருங்க, ஒருவன் 1000 பேர், 2 பேர் சேர்ந்தா 2000 பேர் தான் துரத்த முடியும். ஆனா இங்க வாசிக்கிற 10,000 பேர் ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமா பலன் கிடைக்கும்.
See here, one chased 1,000. That actually means two should be chasing 2,000. But here the two are chasing 10,000. That means through fellowship, through unity, the strength increases.
ఒకడు 1000 మందిని తరమని చెప్పినప్పుడు ఇద్దరు 2000 మందిని మాత్రమే తరమం వల్ల అది ఇక్కడ 10,000 మందిని చెప్పబడుచున్నదనగా సహవాసమును బట్టి బలము దొరుకుచున్నది.
இரண்டாவதாக 1 சாமுவேல் 14ஆம் அதிகாரம் 13-14 வசனம் வாசிக்கும் போது ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலமா ஜெயம் கிடைக்கும்.
Secondly, as we read 1 Samuel chapter 14 verses 13 and 14, there we read, because of fellowship and unity there is victory.
తర్వాత మొదటి సమూయేలు 14వ అధ్యాయము 13-14 వాక్యములను చదివినప్పుడు ఈ యొక్క సహవాసం బట్టి జయము దొరుకుచున్నది.
இஸ்ரவேல் ஜனங்களுக்கும் பெலிஸ்தருக்கு இடையில நடந்த யுத்தத்துல யோனாத்தானும் தன்னுடைய ஆயுததாரி 2 பேர் தான் போறாங்க. 2 பேர் ஒருமனப்பட்டபடினால் அந்த இடத்துல பெரிய ஜெயம் கிடைத்தது.
As we read, the people of the host of Israel, Jonadab and also his arm bearer, 2 of them in one accord and one mind went together and they caused a great slaughter.
ఈ యొక్క యోనాతాను ఆయుధములను మోయవాడు ఇద్దరు కలిసి వెళ్ళి ఉన్నారు గనుక అక్కడ జయమును పొందుకొని ఉన్నారు.
பெலிஸ்தருடைய யுத்தத்துல இஸ்ரவேல் ஜனங்களுக்கு அடுத்த ஜெயத்தை கொடுத்தார்.
In the war against the Philistines unto the people of Israel, God gave victory.
ఈ యొక్క ఫిలిష్తీయుల యొక్క యుద్ధమునందు ఇశ్రాయేలుకు జయము దొరికి ఉన్నది.
எப்பொழுது
ఎప్పుడు
யோனாத்தானும் தன்னுடைய ஆயுததாரியும் ஒருமனப்பட்ட பிற்பாடு ஐக்கியத்தை காட்டுகிறேன்.
Only when Jonathan and his arm bearer have become one, that means it shows they had unity and fellowship.
ఈ యొక్క యోనాతాను తనకు ఆయుధములను మోయవాడు ఏక మనసుతో వెళ్ళినారు.
அடுத்ததாக நமக்கு எல்லாரும் தெரிந்தபடி அப்போஸ்தலர் நடவடிக்கைகள் 12ஆம் அதிகாரம் 5ஆம் வசனத்துல சபையார் ஊக்கமா ஜெபித்ததால பேதுருக்கு ஒரு விடுதலை கிடைத்தது. சபையார் ஊக்கமா ஜெபிதான் அங்க ஜெபம், அதாவது ஐக்கியப்படும் போது ஜெபம் கேட்கப்படும்.
Subsequently, as we read in the book of Acts of the Apostles chapter 12 verse 5, when the church gathered together and prayed fervently, Peter was released. That means when the church joined together and prayed in unity and fellowship, there is result.
తరువాత అపొస్తలుల కార్యములు 12వ అధ్యాయం 5వ వాక్యమందు సంఘస్థులు పేతురు నిమిత్తము అత్యాసక్తితో వారి సహవాసము కలిగి ప్రార్థించుటను బట్టి పేతురు విడుదల చేయబడెను.
ఐక్యத்தினால் ఉయిర్పిக்கப்படக்கூடிய ஒரு அனுபவம் உண்டு.
Therefore there is an experience of being quickened by means of fellowship.
ఈ యొక్క సహవాసమును బట్టి ఉజ్జీవింపజేయబడదుము.
సభ్యుల ఐక్యత పాదగాத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள், குடும்பத்தோட ஐக்கியத்தையும் பாதுகாத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள்.
Therefore preserve fellowship in the church and also preserve fellowship in the family.
సంఘముతో సహవాసమును కుటుంబమందు సహవాసమును కాపాడుకొనుడి.
அடுத்ததாக அப்பத்தை பற்றி நான் சொன்னதே இந்த அப்பம் என்ன காட்டுகிறது?
Subsequently, I already told to you, I'll speak to you about bread. What does this bread mean to us?
ఈ యొక్క భోజనము రొట్టె అనగా ఏమై ఉన్నది?
இந்த அப்பம் கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்துவின் அடையாளம்.
This bread is a type and a shadow unto Lord Jesus Christ.
ఈ యొక్క ఆహారం ప్రభుని యేసుక్రీస్తుకు సాదృశ్యమైనది.
మార్కు సువిశేషం 14ఆம் அதிகாரம்,
Mark's Gospel chapter 14.
మార్కు సువార్త 14వ అధ్యాయము
22వ வசனத்தை வாசிக்கும் போது கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்து தன்னை பற்றி சொல்லுகிற, இது உங்களுக்கு பிற்கப்படுகிறதான அப்பம் என்னுடைய சரீரம் என்று சொல்லுகிறார்.
As we read verse 22, there Lord Jesus Christ himself is saying that I am the bread that will be broken for you.
22 వాక్యమందు ఆ యొక్క రొట్టె నేనే ఆహారం
வாசிங்க.
அவர்கள் போஜனம் பண்ணுகையில் இயேசு அப்பத்தை எடுத்து ஆசீர்வதித்து அதை பிட்டு அவர்களுக்கு கொடுத்து, நீங்கள் வாங்கி புசியுங்கள், இது என்னுடைய சரீரமா இருக்கிறது என்றார்.
Jesus took bread and blessed and broke it and gave to them and said, take, eat, this is my body.
இந்த அப்பம் தான் கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்து.
This bread is Lord Jesus Christ.
ఈ యొక్క రొట్టె ప్రభువైన యేసుక్రీస్తు
జీవన్ கொடுக்கிற அப்பம்.
And he is the bread of life.
జీవం ఇచ్చినటువంటి రొట్టె.
நானே ஜீவ அப்பம் என்று கூட இயேசு சொல்லுகிறார்.
Jesus himself said that I am the bread of life.
నేనే జీవాహారం అని యేసు చెప్పిరి.
இது ராபோனத்துக்கு அடையாளமாக நாம் சொல்லலாம்.
And this also we call this as the communion.
దీనిని గురించి మనం ప్రభురాత్రి భోజనం కూడా చెప్పవచ్చును.
ஒவ்வொரு ராபோன கூட்டத்துக்குள்ள அந்த வசனத்தை வாசிக்கிறோமே, கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்து காட்டி கொடுக்கப்படுத அந்த நாளில் அப்பத்தை பிட்டு ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணி அப்பத்தை பிட்டு இது வாங்கி புசியுங்கள் என்று சொன்னார். அது நாம் ஆசீர்வதிக்கிறதான அந்த பரிசுத்த பந்திக்கு அடையாளமா இருக்கிறேன்.
In every Lord's table we say, this is what the Lord said, this is my body, take ye and eat of it. This is how we confess this in every Lord's table and remember about him.
ప్రభురాత్రి భోజన సమయమందు ఇలాగున చెప్పబడుచున్నది, ప్రభుని యేసు తాను అప్పగింపబడిన రాత్రి ఒక రొట్టెను ఎత్తుకొని కృతజ్ఞతలు చెల్లించి దాన్ని విరిచి అని చెప్పబడుచున్నది.
రాబడుతు మూలமா ఉయిర్పిக்கிற అనుభవం ఉంది.
Therefore by means of the Lord's table there is an experience of being quickened.
ప్రభు యొక్క సంస్కారమును బట్టి కూడా మనం జీవింపజేయబడుచున్నాము.
சுத்திகரிப்புல பங்கெடுத்து ராபடுல பங்கெடுக்கிற போது ஒரு உயிர்ப்பிக்கிற அனுபவம் உண்டாகிறது.
After participating in the sanctification meetings and partake in the Lord's table, we then have the quickening experience in us.
శుద్ధీకరణ కూటములలో పాలు పొంది ప్రభు సంస్కారం నందు పాలు పొందినటువంటి వారు జీవింపజేయబడుచున్నారు.
நான் சொல்லுகிறேன், ஞானஸ்தானத்தை தான் எல்லா விசுவாசிகள் ராபோடுல கண்டிப்பாக சுத்திகரிக்கப்பட்டு பங்கெடுக்க வேண்டும். ஒருவராவது ராபோன கூட்டத்தில் எளிமை போயிடக்கூடாது.
I tell you, every baptized believer of the church will have to participate in the sanctification meeting and will have to partake in the Lord's table. No one at the time of serving the Lord's communion should stand up and walk out.
బాప్తిస్మం తీసుకున్న ప్రతి ఒక్క దేవుని యొక్క బిడ్డ ప్రభు సంస్కారం శుద్ధీకరణ కూటములకు వచ్చి ప్రభు సంస్కారం నందు పాలు పొందవలెను. ప్రభు సంస్కారం నుండి ఎవరు కూడా లేచి వెళ్ళకూడదు.
கர்த்தருக்கு சித்தமான அடுத்த மாசத்துல ஒரு நாள் ராபோன கூட்ட வைக்கலாம் நான் யோசித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறேன்.
God willing, I am contemplating to host a sanctification of the Lord's table next month.
దేవుని యొక్క చిత్తమైతే వచ్చే నెలలో ప్రభు సంస్కారం పెట్టుకున్నాను.
ஞானஸ்தானம் எடுத்தவங்க ஒருவராகிலும் இல்ல பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணாம பங்கெடுக்காம போக கூடாது. அப்படி போனீங்கன்னு சொன்னா நீங்க உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட முடியாது, கர்த்தருடைய வருகையில எடுக்கப்பட முடியாது.
During that time, no baptized believer should go without participating. If you participate not in the Lord's table, then you cannot have the quickening experience. Therefore, you cannot be resurrected and taken up at the coming of the Lord.
బాప్తిస్మం పొందిన ప్రతి దేవుని యొక్క బిడ్డ ప్రభు సంస్కారం నుండి తిరిగి లేచి వెళ్ళకూడదు. అలాగున మీరు వెళ్ళినట్లయితే మీరు ఉజ్జీవింపజేయబడరు, ప్రభరాకాలు ఎత్తబడలేరు.
இந்த மனுஷன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்படுவதற்கு இந்த 4 காரியங்கள் கொடுக்கப்பட்டது.
For this man to be thus quickened, he was given these 4 things.
ఈ యొక్క వ్యక్తి తెప్పరిల నిమిత్తము 4 కార్యములు ఇవ్వబడి ఉన్నవి.
దావీదాగిய యేసు நம்முடைய மத்தியில் ஆசீர்வதிக்கொண்டே இருக்கிறார்.
Even now, David, Lord Jesus Christ is moving in the midst of us.
నేడు ప్రభుని దావీదు అన్నటువంటి ప్రభుని యేసుక్రీస్తు మన జీవింపజేయుచున్నారు.
வெளியிலே வியாதிப்பட்டு கைவிடப்பட்டதான அந்த மனுஷன் உயிர்ப்பிக்கப்பட்டது போல நீங்கள் கைவிடப்பட்டதான நிலவரத்தில் இருக்கும்போது, வெளியில இருக்கிறதான ஒருத்தர் இருக்கும்போது, இதோ உங்களை உயிர்ப்பிக்கும்படியாக தாவீதாகிய இயேசு உங்களை தேடி வருகிறார்.
This man who was in the field forsaken, and when he was quickened in the same manner, David, Lord Jesus Christ is also moving in the midst of us, even as you may be sometimes found in the field as the one who had been forsaken to quicken you.
మీరు చేయివిడబడి పొలములో ఒంటరిగా ఎవరు కూడా విచారించలేని స్థితిలో కనబడినప్పుడు మిమ్మల్ని విచారించు నిమిత్తము దావీదైనటువంటి ప్రభుని యేసుక్రీస్తు వచ్చుచున్నారు.
How many of you desire to be quickened?
ఎంతమంది జీవింప కోరుచున్నారు?
How many of you desire to be quickened?
ఎంతమంది ఉజ్జీవింపబడవాలని కోరుచున్నారు?
And those that desire to be quickened, kneel down.
జీవింపజేయబడవాలని కోరినటువంటి వారు మోకాళ్ళ మీద
Behold, that David, Lord Jesus Christ is bringing this miracle.
ఇదిగో దావీదైనటువంటి యేసు ప్రభు ఆయన అద్భుతం చేయుచున్నారు.
Behold, David, Lord Jesus Christ is bringing the bread.
దావీదైనటువంటి యేసు ప్రభు ఇప్పుడు రొట్టెని తెచ్చుచున్నారు.
Behold, he is bringing the water.
ఇదిగో నీళ్లను తెచ్చుచున్నారు.
And he is bringing the figs.
అంజూర పండ్లను తెచ్చుచున్నారు.
He also brings the cluster of raisins.
ద్రాక్ష గెలలను తెచ్చుచున్నారు.
How many of you are ready to partake and eat?
ఎంతమంది తినుటకు సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నారు?
How many of you have the desire to be quickened?
ఎంతమంది
Be quickened by the Lord.
దేవుని యొక్క ఆత్మకు చోటు
Behold, the spirit of the Lord is moving amidst us.
ఇదిగో దేవుని యొక్క ఆత్మ మన మధ్యలో
The spirit of the Lord who will quicken you and me is moving amidst us.
నిన్ను నన్ను జీవింపజేయనటువంటి పరిశుద్ధాత్మ మన మధ్యలో సంచరించున్నారు.
And those that desire to be quickened, start praising God.
జీవింపజేయబడ కోరినటువంటి వారు దేవుని స్తుతించండి.
Clap your hands and praise the Lord.
చప్పట్లు కొట్టి దేవుని
புசிங்க, அப்பத்தை புசிங்க,
eat the bread,
தண்ணீரை குடிங்க,
drink the water,
அத்திப்பழத்தை சாப்பிடுங்க.
and eat the cake of figs.
இதோ கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு நம்மத்தில் ஆசீர்வாதி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்.
Behold, the Lord Jesus Christ is moving,
கொட்டலான திராட்சை பழங்களை தருகிறார்.
and he is giving the cluster of raisins.
மரித்த அனுபவ மாற்றுகிறார்.
He is changing the dead state.
என்னை யாருமே விசாரிக்கிறது இல்லையே, நான் கைவிடப்பட்டு என்னுடைய எதிர்காலம் எப்படி ஏன் யோசித்துக் கொண்டு இருக்கிறாய்?
Why are you thinking, saying there's nobody to inquire me? I am forsaken. How about my future?
இதோ உன்னை நான் விசாரிக்கிறேன்.
Behold, I inquire about you.
உனக்காக நான் கவலைப்படுகிறேன்.
I am careful for you.
இதோ நான் உன்னை உயிர்ப்பிக்க போகிறேன்.
I am going to quicken you.
உன்னுடைய எதிர்காலம் என் கையில் இருக்கிறது.
And your future is in my hands.
நீ தைரியமாய் போ என்று கர்த்தர் சொல்லுகிறார்.
Go courageously, says the Lord.
கர்த்தர் பேச வார்த்தைகளுக்காக ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம் 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 ஸ்தோத்திரம். கர்த்தர் நம்மோடு இருக்கிறபடினால் ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். கர்த்தர் நம்மையும் உயிர்ப்பித்தார். ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். கைவிடப்பட்டுதான் நிலவரத்தில் வந்தோம், ஆனால் இப்போது நாம் தாவீதோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டோம், இயேசுவோடு சேர்க்கப்பட்டோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம் ஸ்தோத்திரம். எல்லா துதிக மகிமை கர்த்தருக்கே செலுத்தி ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம் ஸ்தோத்திரம்.
அன்பான பிதாவே, ஆசீர்வதிக்கப்பட்டதான கால வேளைக்காக நாங்கள் நன்றியோடு துதிக்கிறோம் ஆண்டவரே. இந்த கால வேளையிலே இந்த பிள்ளைகளாகி நாங்கள் ஒன்றாய் கூடி வருவோம். அவையோடு உண்மையோடு தொழுது கொள்ள ஆராதிக்க நமக்குள்ளே கர்த்தாவே சந்தோஷப்பட களி கூற கத்திரங்களுக்கு உதவி செய்தபடியினால ஸ்தோத்திரம். இந்த சமூகத்தை கத்திரங்களுக்கு இன்பமாக மாற்றி தந்தபடியினால ஸ்தோத்திரம். கர்த்தாவே நீரங்களை சமுத்திர உயிர்ப்பித்தபடியினால ஸ்தோத்திரம். கத்திரங்களோடு பேசினதான நல்ல ஆலோசனைக்காய் ஸ்தோத்திரம். மன நெருக்கத்தை பலப்படுத்தினபடியினால ஸ்தோத்திரங்க தாவே நாங்கள் இந்த வருஷத்தின் கடைசி நோக்கி வந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். நீர் எங்களை உயிர்ப்பிக்க சித்தம் கொண்டபடி நான் உமக்கு நன்றி செலுத்துகிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. அன்றைய கைவிடப்பட்டதான அந்த எகிப்தியனை தாவீது கண்டானே கர்த்தாவே. அவன் புறம்பே இருக்கிறவனாக காணப்பட்டான். ஒரு அமலேக்கின் வேலைக்காரனாக இருந்தான், வியாதிப்பட்டவனாக இருந்தான், கைவிடப்பட்டவனாக இருந்தான். அவனுக்கு சாப்பாடு தண்ணி இல்லாமல் அவன் சாகக்கூடியதான நிலவரத்திலே காணப்பட்டான். ஆனாலும் தாவீது அவனை கண்டு கர்த்தாவே அவனுக்கு தண்ணீரும் கர்த்தாவே அத்திப்பழடையும் திராட்சை கர்த்தாவே அடையும் கொடுத்து கர்த்தாவே அப்பத்தையும் கொடுத்து அவனை போஷித்து கர்த்தாவே உயிரிட செய்தானே கர்த்தாவே. அதுபோல இந்த வருஷ கடைசியிலே வந்திருக்கிறதான எங்களை உயிர்ப்பிக்க முடியாத சித்தம் கொண்டபடியினால ஸ்தோத்திரம். தாவீதாகிய நீர் எங்களுடைய மத்தியிலே முலாவி நீர் எங்களை உயிர்ப்பித்தபடியினால நன்றியோடுமே துதிக்கிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. தண்ணீரை கொடுத்தான் வாசிக்கிறோம். தண்ணீர் என்றால் ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பை காட்டுகிறது கர்த்தாவே. இந்த நாட்களில் நாங்கள் எங்களை சுத்திகரித்துக் கொள்ளட்டும். எங்களுடைய கைகளை நாங்கள் சுத்திகரிக்கட்டும். கைகளை சுத்திகரிக்கிறதால் எங்களுடைய கிரியைகள் எப்படி இருக்கிறது என்று இந்த நாட்களில் நாங்கள் ஆராய்ந்து பார்த்து கர்த்தாங்களை சுத்திகரிக்க கத்திரங்களுக்கு உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம். கால்களை கழுவ வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டோம். கால்கள் என்றால் எங்களுடைய நடக்கைகள் எப்படி இருக்கிறது என்று கர்த்தா நாங்கள் ஆராய்ந்து பார்த்து எங்களை சுத்திகரிக்கட்டும் கர்த்தாவே. குடல்களை கழுவ வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டோம். குடல் என்றால் உள்ளான ஜீவியம் மறைவான ஜீவியம் எப்படி இருக்கிறது என்று இந்த நாட்களை பார்த்து ஆராய்ந்து ஒரு ஆழமான சுத்திகரிப்பை பெற்றுக்கொள்ள கத்திரங்களுக்கு உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம். அத்திப்பழ அடை கொத்தான் வாசிக்கிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. இந்த அத்திப்பழம் என்றால் இனிமையானது கர்த்தாவே. நாங்கள் தேசமுத்திலே வந்து தேசமுத்திலே களி கூர்ந்து மகிழ்ந்து அந்த தேசமுத்தின் இனிமையை அனுபவிக்க இந்த நாட்களில் கத்திரங்களுக்கு உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. ஸ்தோத்திரம். திராட்சை பழம் என்று கேட்டோம். அந்த ஐக்கியத்தை காட்டுகிறது கர்த்தாவே. இந்த நாட்கள் எங்களுக்குள்ள ஒரு ஐக்கியம் தேவை. பிரிவினையோ கசப்போ அந்த ஒன்றுமே வேண்டாம். எல்லாரும் இந்த நாட்கள் நமக்குள்ளே ஐக்கியமாய் காணப்பட கர்த்தர் உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம். நாங்கள் ஐக்கியமாயிருந்தால் எங்களுக்கு பலன் கிடைக்கும். அந்த ஐக்கியத்தின் மூலம் அருகிறான பலனை பெற்றுக்கொள்ள உதவிச்சுமே. ஐக்கியமாயிருந்தால் எங்களுக்கு ஜெயம் கிடைக்கும் கர்த்தாவே. சத்துரு தொட முடியாது, பொன்னான மேல் தொட முடியாது கர்த்தாவே. நாங்கள் ஐக்கியமா இருந்து அந்த ஜெயத்தை பெற்றுக்கொள்ள உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. அப்பத்தையும் கொடுத்தான் வாசிக்கிறோம். நீர் கர்த்தாவே அப்பமாக இருக்கிறீர். ஜீவ அப்பம் நானேன்னு சொன்னீரே. ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் நாங்கள் மேல் புசிக்கட்டும் கர்த்தாவே. அன்றைய நாங்கள் அனுபவிக்கட்டும் கர்த்தாவே. இந்த நாட்களில் நாங்கள் தாப்போஜன ஆராதனையில் ஒரு ஆய்களும் கர்த்தாவே அது விட்டுவிடக்கூடாது. சுத்திகரிக்கப்பட்டுள்ளா இந்த தாப்போஜன ஆராதனையிலே பங்கு பெற கர்த்தருக்கு உதவிச்சுமா ஜெபிக்கிறோம் கர்த்தாவே. எங்களுக்கு ஸ்தோத்திரம். நீர் விரும்புகிறதான ஒரு சுத்திகரிப்பை இந்த நாட்களில் நாங்கள் பெற்று அனுபவிக்க ஒவ்வொருக்கு உதவிச்சவனுமே அதுக்கேற்றதான வாஞ்சியின் தாக்கத்தை ஒவ்வொருக்கும் தாரும். இந்த வருகையானது மிகவும் சமீபம். சந்திக்கவும் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஆழமான சுத்திகரிப்பு தேவை. அந்த சுத்திகரிப்புக்கென ஒவ்வொருவரும் ஒப்பு கொடுத்து நாங்கள் தங்களுடைய ஜீவியத்தை மாற்றிக்கொண்டு நீர் வரும்போதுமே சந்திக்க எங்களுக்கு ஒவ்வொருக்கும் உதவிச்சு இயேசு நாமத்தினால் வேண்டிக் கொள்கிறோம் பிதாவே.
ஸ்தோத்திரப்படுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். இன்னும் ஆசீர்வாதம் போடவில்லை. யாரும் எழுப்பி போக வேண்டாம். ஒரு பிள்ளை பிரதிஷ்டை இருக்கு. பிள்ளை பிரதிஷ்டை பிற்பாடு நான் ஆசீர்வாதம் போடுகிறேன். தயவுசெய்து ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. பிள்ளை பிரதிஷ்டை பண்ணும்போது தயவுசெய்து ஃபோட்டோ யாரும் எடுக்க வேண்டாம். ஃபோட்டோ எடுத்து வாட்ஸ்அப்பில் போடுவாங்க. தயவுசெய்து ஃபோட்டோ யாரும் எடுக்காதீங்க. பிதாவே ஆமென். ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். பிதாவாகிய தேவனுக்காய் ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். குமாரனாகிய இயேசுவுக்காய் ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். பரிசுத்தாவினுக்காய் ஸ்தோத்திரம் பண்ணுவோம். ஸ்தோத்திரம். நம்முடைய கர்த்தராகிய இயேசு கிறிஸ்துவின் கிருபை, பிதாவாகிய தேவனுடைய அன்பு, பரிசுத்த ஐக்கியம், சமாதானம் இன்றும் என்று நம்மோடு இருப்பதாக.